I don't know how to start this. Well, I will start this by sending another tweet to indicate that we are in fact online. Now online. Wait, not like this. Please format correctly. Now online. Tweet. There. I tweeted. I did the thing that people are not supposed to do because apparently tweeting is very bad. Not apparently, I know for a fact that tweeting is something people should never do. Lindsay Ellis told me that. Actually, not just her. So let me just put this in a certain Discord server as well. Here we go. So, and now I should be ready. So, hi there everybody. So, I see we have like a fluctuating number of viewers right now. YouTube, give me actual numbers, please. YouTube, give me actual numbers, challenge even. I would be happy. I'll wait for some people to pop up in the chat because this will be a very conversational stream. I want to talk about my thought process as I translated the thing as well. So it would be really nice to have some people to ask questions and stuff. And also, before anybody asks, yes, I am partially wearing my Amity cosplay, not the wig. Playing with the wig would be too distracting. But like, I'm wearing most of my Amity cosplay right now. Let me just pull up certain windows so I can read. Ah, there you guys are! Haha! I got Anonymous in the chat. Excited to see this new and improved translation. Glad to have you here. Novastar is here. Hi there. Kasuna is here. Welcome back in the Brick Dungeon. We will suffer together. Loner Collector is here. Nice Amity cosplay. Yes, I am wearing my Amity cosplay minus the wig, but I am wearing it. Medea Substitute. Hey there. Anon again complimenting my outfit. I am glad. Sal the artist is here. Hi there. How long have we been dead for? I have no idea. I think I probably had the window inactive so I couldn't see you guys. But now I can see you. Oh god, B is in the chat. We'll come to all the words and he got them alphabet start with R. I'm your host B. Oh no! This is gonna be great. I love it. Okay, I think we've got enough people right now. So, without any further ado, as Ringo would say, in any and all cases, Nani wa tomore, retsu, Puyo Puyo. Oh, also, I might get interrupted as we go because I actually ordered bubble tea. Why bubble tea? Because the bubbles are squishy and Puyo are squishy. And I wanted this to be helpful. Made a substitute. I literally just finished playing the main game right before I found out the stream was happening. Great to hear that you're here. I hope I'll get my bubble tea soon. The tea will be bubbled and I will be playing, so. And the bubble tea is here. Hang on a second. If anybody shows up, tell them about the bubble tea. Holy fuck. go! I am back! And I have my Puyo tea. So, Anon in the chat, how long do you think you're gonna stream today? For how long? As long as I can without dying. Probably. And I don't mean die in the game, I mean actually die. Made a substitute in the chat. Edible Puyo in the Puyo stream, yes. Daily dose of dopamine, spill the tea. Sell in the chat. Gonna put you on as a background noise. I love being a background noise. Daily dose of dopamine. Would the red Puyo be strawberry or cherry flavored? Well, given that I have strawberry flavored ones here, they're probably strawberry flavored. Sayata is here! Hey everybody, we got the person who actually did the patch, who actually put the patch together in the chat with you guys. So, a big applause to our sponsor, Sayata, who actually put my translation in the game. And okay, here we have peach with strawberry bubbles. And strawberry with peach bubbles. Yes, I actually did that. And for the extra jelly emoji. Now I just need a straw. There we go. I'm making some space here. And now, let's do this. Should I start with the peach? I'll start with the peach. Can't wait to bully rape it. Okay, we're getting to it. Plop. So, now that I have my drink. Nani wa tomo are. Let's. Puyo shabu. So, out of the demo. Here we go! Oh, she Sig is so adorable! Okay, let's go. Checking what this other chat is. Oh, this is like the... Oh! Let me just put this real quick in there. Here we go! Yeah, I got plushies of all of them. I got Ringo. I got my girl Amity, twinsies. And of course the OG, Al. They are all here to help me win this battle. Everybody is here. Let's do this. So, we could play about anything right now, but we're here for the story mode, obviously, because what is the most translation work? And the thing that I put my effort in? Hey Mary! It's the story mode. I actually removed like my save data, my existing save data for this game, so we get like the from zero experience. So here we go. I made a... Don't worry, I saved it somewhere else, but here we go. As you will see, like, there's already some small touches here. Like, all the graphics are, like, changed. I actually helped translating the graphics here around the screen. And actually, these graphics are upscaled because they were actually pretty blurry originally. The patch actually, Sayata put like a lot of effort into upscaling stuff that didn't look good in the original. So, here we go. So we have Ringo here, and this is like, okay, before we get truly started, I'll explain how my process translating this was. There's basically like 3 types of lines in this translation. A, lines that I just took from the existing DS patch by Puyo Nexus because they were fine. Those are actually the minority. B, lines that I changed to be like closer to the original. And C, lines that I changed to sound better because even if they were close to the original, they didn't flow right. They didn't... Okay, basically they conveyed the information but not the vibe. So those are the 3 types of lines in this. As you can see, we have a beautiful ah here. There was nothing wrong with the ah, so the ah is a line that stayed the same. Say it in the chat, you can play this till before Act 4, then update it. Oh, you want me to update it? Oh, I just released a small patch update. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, then we'll update Act 4. We'll take a break at Act 4 and then update. Thank you, Sayata. Nova in the sky, Nova Star. It's raining Puyo. Indeed, it is raining Puyo. Anon in the chat, I've got a full week of break to enjoy, so pretty good. Glad that you guys are doing well. Oh, everybody in the chat is having good, everybody is having like good conversations. Let's continue. This is a line I actually changed. I don't even remember what the Nexus one was, but it didn't sound... Basically, Ringo is an interesting character to translate, because some of her lines sound very down-to-earth, and other lines sound extremely nerdy. The way her nerdiness is like emphasized in the Japanese is by having her often talk like unnecessarily polite, but like not in the way like a maid or something. She basically almost always speaks like she's speaking to a teacher, but then she'll suddenly slip into slang or reference memes or something like this. So she's a nerd. She's a total nerd. So I made this line nerdier. It's raining mysterious rainbow jellies of questionable substance. And of course, when I translated, I kept like Cassandra Lee Morris's voice in mind, because I like her take on Ringo a lot, and I wanted to sound like dialogue that she could voice. Yeah, exactly. As you see here, she goes like just chat speak all of a sudden. Here we go, here's Al. I have no idea why she shows up, why she knows this. She's just here now. No idea why she's wearing the suzerain school uniform. That is never explained. This game's plot is a mess. Let's not care about that. Let's continue. Hi? So yeah, the hi here technically just means yes, but she clearly means it in a confused way, and I translated it accordingly. Yeah, for those who don't know, Ando is Ringo's surname. There's only one point in the localization where her surname comes up, which is funny because she keeps telling people her surname even when they already know it in the Japanese games. It's really funny, like how insistent she is on introducing herself with her full name in Japanese. So them dropping that in Tetris is kind of funny. Yeah, no idea why she knows this. So, something interesting about this line. The word used here that I translated as magic is chikara. But the thing is, like, it's not chikara written in hiragana or in kanji, which is usually how chikara is written, because chikara actually just means power, as an energy or an ability. The problem is, when it's written in katakana, it implies that there's a special emphasis on it. And this katakana chikara has been used ever since the days of Mado Monogatari in the franchise to denote magic power. And that's why I translated it as magic here. The DS patch only translated it as power, and I think that kind of took away from the fact that this is tying back to the fact that, like, Puyo battles are wizard duels. They are always wizard duels, and I find it kind of sad when that is, like, downplayed, because a lot of people seem confused how Puyo puzzling even works as a form of battle. And I think if you put magic back into the dialogue like this, it makes it more clear what's happening. That's why I translated it like this. Daily dose of dopamine. Dropped it in Tetris. Oh, character development? No, I mean just in English. Not in Japanese. They dropped it just in English. In English, there's like exactly one spot in the 2 games with her in a story mode that we have so far, where her last name is mentioned, and that's it. Oh, by the way, I should also mention that, like, I use in this game, I use the word pop to refer to Puyo disappearing. That's actually something that they only do in the localized versions. In Japanese, it's always kieru, which just means disappear. But I think it's really cute, and they do pop. It's what they do on screen, so I used it. Made a substitute. As I've told my friends, Puyo Puyo 7's plot is Swiss cheese, but bugged me a lot less with this translation though. Why, thank you! I'm glad that you like it! So with this line, she actually says in Japanese someone before something. The reason I switched those two is because in English it just sounds better when you say thing before person. Because then it feels like it's building, because at least in English we put like person on a higher like level than thing. And I wanted the line to build, so I put something before someone. In Japanese, it was the other way around. It doesn't change the meaning, it's just like these little details that I think help the flow of the dialogue. Say it to the chat, are you going to explain your reasoning for writing every single line? I'm going to calm down. I just love sharing stuff like this. Okay, I have to explain this one though. As you have probably heard, the line in Japanese is very short. There's a reason why it's very short. The term Ringo uses in Japanese is dokudenpa. In the Puyo Nexus translation, this was translated as psycho. In that Puyo Nexus translation, they had Ringo say, "Is she a psycho?" That is way too harsh. I didn't like the translation at all. Dokudenpa is a slang term for somebody who believes in mind control or in evil hypnosis or in all this stuff, or stuff like the 5G stuff as well. It's like a slang term that is used when somebody who believes in that stuff has an episode. So that's why it turns so long, because in English we don't have like a unified term for that, so I had to describe it. So it turned from 3 words to 4 lines. That's what happened here. Daily dose of dopamine. Ringo calling out all the Facebook Karens who think 5G will mind control them. Exactly! Except this was in 2009! This game! Japan ahead of the times! Say it to the chat, there's a term for it. Karen stupidity. I salute you, sir. How many strawberry Puyo have I eaten yet? I like bubble tea. It was expensive, but it was worth it. This is the true experience. So, we're turning to the classroom. So, we are through the intro. I swear I will not translate every single thing. Like, explain everything. I translated every single thing, but I will not like hold up everything. I just want you guys to understand how all of this came together. So like, okay, about these episode descriptions, these episode screens, we did not have the translations for these that Puyo Nexus used. If they translated them at all, I don't know. I didn't actually play the DS patch, I just saw the script for it. So I translated those from scratch. And these are actually a good example of the inconsistent theming of Puyo Puyo 7. Because sometimes, like with the curtains rising and so, it looks like it's supposed to be themed after a theater play. But then we get this, and these are themed after an anime. This is supposed to be like an episode guide for an anime with like episode 1, SOS from a drowning school, and then explaining what is happening on this episode. So the theming here is inconsistent. It can't decide whether it wants to be an anime or wants to be a theater play. Is it a theater anime? I have no idea. Proto in the chat, hi there. Anyway, Wingo School is gonna drown in Puyo, let's take it from the top. And yeah, I don't like skeleton tea. I will take great pleasure in annihilating. Armando is here. Hi there, Armando. So here we have Magudo, and his starting line in all of time, surprisingly, does not have a star. Where did the star go? No idea. The stars show up later, but here he doesn't have one. My personal theory is that Magudo doesn't use the stars when he's being sincere. I've talked about this before, but again, no matter, let's continue. So something that I noticed that another streamer picked up on when playing my translation last night was that this is the only time in the game I translate Magudo's full name as his full name. Every later time I only use his first name. That is because this game has the obnoxious habit of making Wingo call everyone by their full names if she knows it, which is really annoying and thankfully something that was dropped with later games. In later games she only uses the full name of a character once per game. And thank God for that, because there's Nerdy and Dennis. You've known this guy since you both were in diapers. I think he doesn't need you to call him by his full name constantly. Proto in the chat, Ringo's saying full names like she's Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, pretty much. I actually was not sure whether to translate this as anger or arc, but I stuck with arc. So, these three annoying things are starting a 3-line catchphrase here that they keep for the rest of the game. And I hate it. It's terrible and annoying. But what's even worse is that, like, the Puyo Nexus translation left it untranslated. They just wrote it out in Romaji and sometimes put an explanation in brackets, and it had very big Keikakumin's plan energy. And I was just like, no, there has to be a better way to do this. So what I did was, like, I translated the rhyming. That's why we start with "oh we," such glee. It's time for tea. In Japanese, he uses, like, a very specific word for tea here, but I don't care, because every time they use this catchphrase, the last part of it is completely random anyway, so there is no information to maintain here. It's just supposed to be weird, and this is weird enough, and it gets weirder. There. quote in the chat, shout out to the two skeleton brothers not even coming back in quest, and Skeleton T going solo again. I think, like, his two brothers probably found their ultimate T and stayed in Suzuran for the rest of time. Anon in the chat, fun wordplay to spice up the dialogue. Okay, that's the thing though. There is a line when you translate between spicing up the dialogue and just changing the dialogue. And it's a very fine line to walk. Sometimes I find myself very close to crossing it as well. It's really hard to have like a feel for how far you're allowed to go with changing what the character says, because it's a balance between conveying the information and conveying the vibe. Both of them are equally important and you need to convey both. And sometimes it's almost impossible and then you need to prioritize. What I don't like is when you either completely sacrifice the vibe just for the information, which is something that certain games like Persona 5 did sometimes. And then something that old translations like to do a lot is completely sacrificing the information for the vibe. And unfortunately that is something that the old translation of this one also liked to do a lot. Pink Sheep in the chat. There's actually a reason why they always say their full names in this game, and it makes a whole lot of sense. Puyo Puyo 7 is the first game with these new characters, so they have to say their full names in order for the audience to know who they fully are. With later games, it's assumed people already played 7, so they only say their first names. While that is true, I think seeing the characters' full names, because their full names are in the battle select menu every time you select them, because yes, they are in there, should be enough to let you know what their last names are. I don't think this was necessary, in all honesty. Anyway, as I was saying, you always have to make compromises when you translate, but I just really didn't like that the DS translation really strayed way too much into the direction of try to make it funny at all cost, even if it means changing the dialogue to the point that you lose the information that was originally there. So, actually, I think, ironically, Skeleton T are some of the characters where I left the most of the Puyo Nexus lines untouched, because you can't ruin anything with Skeleton T. Everything they say is a joke anyway, so they didn't have to change much to make it funny, so yeah. Translation is really hard to do right without an overview. Yeah, that's right, Cell, absolutely. Pink Sheep in the chat, what are you planning to do with the Wii, 3DS and PSP translations of 20th? The thing is, like, the Wii, PSP, and basically the already existing patch of 20th was done by a friend of mine, Ingu. It was like one of her earlier projects, and even she admits that there's some stuff in there that she will do differently today if she were to redo it, but we don't have time to redo it. We are all way too busy, and I only did this because this was a short game. 20th is a freaking long game. We don't have time for this because like Saeta and I, we didn't do this under the Precise Museum banner. We did get like help from the other members of Precise Museum for this, but like this isn't under the Precise Museum banner because Precise Museum has like very rigid quality check standards, and Saeta wanted to do it his own way, which is absolutely understandable. So it's basically, we are a splinter cell right now. We are right now acting as a splinter cell of Precise Museum. But Precise Museum proper, where Ingo and I both translate, we have so many projects in the pipeline. We are working on way too much stuff to redo the translation of 20th. Like, I'm not even allowed to say what's in the pipeline right now except for Chronicle, because if I said it, I would make you guys excited, and then some people would start pushing, and we can't have pushing, because if we are pushed, then we can't change our priorities if we need to change them, and then we have a whole mess on our hands. But, like, trust us, there is a lot of Puyo material that we're working on right now, so redoing 20th is sadly not on our schedule. Heck, not even we would love to redo 15th, but because 15th also has a lot of issues in the translation. But we can't. There's no time right now. We are very sorry. So let's do this. And Anon in the chat, in a world where Chronicles sales were good. Oof. Pink Sheep, by the way, the Chronicles translation is almost done. Technically it is done, but as I said, Precise Museum has like extremely high quality standards. Like, Ingo, she's like amazing. She will not release anything unless it has been checked to death. Especially these days. Like, she's pretty much a master right now at what she's doing. So, basically it will only be released when absolutely every byte has been checked to death, and we are 100% or at least 99.9999% sure that there's no mistakes in there. So yeah, that's why. So let's continue. This is a good example of what I said earlier. In the DS translation, this line had like replaced Ringo's line about asking, why is this happening? What is happening here? Why are you saying this? Like, just Ringo being, what? They replaced that with Ringo instead saying, but it would just go right through you because you're skeletons, haha. I mean, yes, this is a joke, but that's not a joke that Ringo would make. It's a joke that Al would make. In fact, it is a joke that Al has made in, like, Puyo Puyo box. So I was very confused why they give some of Al's old dialogue to Ringo here. And that's something that I really didn't like, so I changed it. Because the point here isn't that Ringo is making a pun. The point here is that Ringo is starting to realize that she's not in Kansas anymore, basically. My phone is going for some reason. Let me just check that for a moment. Excuse me, telemarketers. We're back. I am sorry for this. Please excuse. Let me just check if I got the audio. Yeah, the audio is working still. Good. Let's continue. So, what have we in the chat? People talking about, yeah, Aspra to say is like, there were issues with Puyo Nexus translations. I have like huge respect for them doing this at all. This project went faster because I had like Puyo Nexus's translations to work off on, but still, I'm glad I got I was able to help, like, with making this patch come true. Uh, Sal in the chat, Ringo is going to die tonight. I sure hope not. So Sayat in the chat, I'm sorry, 15th is uncrackable font-wise, unless we mod the DS version. Yeah, that's the problem, like, okay, one thing, why did we release this patch now? Basically because one of Sayata's friends found a way to mess with the code of this game to shrink the dialogue to actually make it fit in the box. Because basically the way the dialogue is programmed in this game is annoying, extremely annoying, and Sayata had to fight to make it work. It was actually like almost sad and hilarious in a weird way to watch him battle with this game's code to make this work without, and like somehow he and his friend managed to do this without outright reprogramming the game. But right now it looks like the only way to do the same for 15th would be to like directly mess with the game, like reprogram the entire dialogue system from scratch, and we can't do that. Okay, Sayata is correcting me in the chat. Believe Sayata, I am sorry. Made a substitute in the chat. Boba teas for Neni, not skeletons. Yes, that is my tea! You cannot have my Puyo tea! This is mine! It's mine! Puyo tea. So, let's continue.
Puyo Puyo Shobu? Ah, naruhodo. Souyuu oyaksoku ka.
Okay. Another line I want to explain. I'm sorry there's so many of these, but I had so much fun translating this. In the DS translation, this was translated as, so this is the convention here. And while I understand why they translated it like that, it was weird to me because she is still in her own world. She isn't in Primptown at this point. So why would she say that this is like a convention or tradition here? What she said in Japanese is like soyu yakusoku ka. Yakusoku means promise, but in the context that she uses it here, that's like a colloquial context. It's used to be like something that you know is going to happen. Something that's like a kind of cliched turn in a story. So it feels like, oh, I get it. This is what is happening here. Oh dear. So that's what I translated it as. So this is what I've gotten myself into. Yeah. That is my reasoning. Okay, this is also something. This has already happened before, so okay. This is something no other translation of Puyo has actually kept so far, and I wanted to keep this because I like this and I love this and I wanted to finally bring it into English. Ringo has a catchphrase. A catchphrase that was borrowed from the fact that like the person who wrote this game also wrote Space Channel 9, so it's a catchphrase that also appears in Space Channel 5, not Space Channel 9, but it doesn't say 9, Space Channel 5. It's Nani wo tomo are. Nani wo tomo are is like an extremely long-winded and extremely overly elaborate way of saying in any case. And, or anyway. And it sounds like unreasonably nerdy if you say it like this, and she says it a lot. It is her catchphrase. The thing is, like, every other translation so far just translated it as anyway or in any case. And I didn't like that because you kind of lost the sense that this is like a Ringo thing. And that's why I've personally taken to translating it as in any and all cases. And that's what you see here. In any and all cases. It even has like the same word melody, kind of like Nani wa tomo are. I just like it that way. made a substitute in the chat. If I'm remembering correctly, Japanese is an incredibly context-based language. Oh, very much so. Very much so. It can be almost impossible to figure out what a line is supposed to mean if you don't have the context for it. That's an issue a lot of translations have, and also why translating trailers can be just a task that will make you cry. I've had that experience in the Persona fandom, where people have actually tried to pit me, like, against another player and not play another translator just because our translations differed slightly. Yeah, I think I killed them already. Yeah, they are very dead. Goodbye. So here's the first of the win lines. I can't actually explain all of these because they disappear from the screen too quickly, but basically I had to redo almost all of the victory lines. Because the victory lines were all made up in the DS version, like all. There was almost nothing there that had anything to do with the Japanese text. It was actually kind of impressive. Whip the all clear. Well, I killed them. Who cares? This is a line I kept because not only is it accurate, but it's also a perfect Ringo line. Oceano in the chat, the art looks more childish. The art in this game was actually done by like completely different artists than in most of the other games. And I think like a character designer from Rhythm Thief was involved. So yeah, it looks way different in this game. Daily dose of dopamine in the chat, Ringo stats were there. You can now play as Skeleton T! That would be great! If I wanted to play as them. I don't. Pink sheep in the chat. Maybe you could have translated it as not normal, or had have translated not normal as abnormal. I could have, but the line was fine the way it was, so I... Anna in the chat. Going by Google Translate, it's clear that context is more important than just individual words since it sometimes comes out incoherent. Oh, very much, very much. Silent chat. No, Neni, that artist only drew wrong concept art. Oh dear. Well, I've learned something new. Mary in the chat. I love how smug Ringo looks in her victory pose. Aren't we all a little bit smug Ringo inside? Proton in the chat. It makes me wonder if the official Space Channel 5 translation actually accurately translated that line or not. I need to check that sometimes. That would be interesting to see. And on the chat has been reading Japanese Puyo fanfics. That's actually amazing. I congratulate you because fanfics are sometimes like, even to me, a bit too much for me. No, not too much, but like, I need to focus to read Japanese and I don't always have the focus. Pink sheep in the chat. Personally, I like the 20th art style more. Same! Abrax says in the chat, does your translation add any lost lore? A little bit, but not super much, but a little bit. This game is like a very short game. There's not so much in there. Anyway, let's continue. Who is the mysterious boy that appeared in Ringo's classroom? Well, you're telling us right here. The name is right there. Why are you asking? Anyway, we are going up against Best Boy. Again, as with Ringo, when I translated Sick, I kept like his English voice in mind to make the lines sound like something that Bandiskin could voice.
ブトムシの香りがするゆっくり系の少年。
Okay, this line. I actually had to leave out. This is like what I mean with sometimes you have to sacrifice information. This line was already 4 lines. We couldn't make it any longer. The problem is that the original line actually was longer because she also says that he seems like very mind paced. She calls him Yukuri K, which means like he's like the leisurely, the slow type. The leisurely slow type, the relaxed type. But that didn't fit in the textbooks anymore, so I had to drop it. Sadly. Gomen nasai, Shigu.
あ、虫見つけた。君、誰？シグ。シグ？
Okay, this line also important. In the Japanese, she just says Sig, but the problem is she says Sig in hiragana, which is not how Sig's name is written usually. And when a name is written like in a different register than in a different like alphabet than it is usually written, that usually implies that the person doesn't know how to pronounce it right. As a result, I put like what kind of name is that in the parenthesis here to point out that she doesn't, she's confused by what is this name, how do you say it? That's why I put this there. In the DS translation, they had randomly had her say Shigu, which doesn't make sense in my opinion, because that is not how the name is pronounced in English. It just comes off as Ringo randomly deciding that she needs to add vowels that do not exist. Hence why I instead handled it like this.
おお、虫がいっぱいだ。
Quote in the chat, nothing will ever be funnier to me than the people insisting that the official Puyo Tetris games translations were inaccurate. Only for them to be way more accurate than the translations they read. I agree. Aprox says in the chat, Japanese sick, cute absent-minded kudere, English sick, tired of everyone's slightly snarky kid. I mean, he's kind of like a combination of both, honestly, in Japanese. Daily dose of dopamine in the chat, bitch, your name means apple, who are you to judge? Good argument. Yes, her name does mean apple, it's true. And Maguro's name means tuna, and Rizukuma's name means squirrel bear. Again, one of these confused highs that I had to translate as something else.
知らない。ここどこ？見たことない虫がいっぱい。シグもぷよ勝負する人？うん。じゃあ何はともあれ。
Yeah, this is one of the few cases where I didn't translate Nani wa Tomoare as in any and all cases, because it sounded better this way here. It flowed better this way here. Let's continue. Apex says in the chat, remember, canonically Al is the reincarnation of the mother of demons. I mean, it depends on whether you consider like Shinmado canonical, but that's a whole discussion, because actually Fever also plays into that, but I'll get into that later. For now I need to beat up the best boy. In transformation mode. God, the graphics are so nice, honestly. I'm not just chilling here, guys. It's just, I think this is like beautiful graphical translation. I'm really proud to have helped with this so much.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm not good at building these sandwich chains.
Hey.
Oh well, here we go. Okay, Chibi Puyo, here we go. Let's do this. Yes, here we go. Sorry, best boy. It's all for your own good. My drawing covers part of the board. Oops. I'm very sorry. I need to fix that. I will move baby Neni out of the way. Excuse that. Oh, that was bad. I don't know. I swear I can't play Puyo. I swear I can't play Puyo. I need to finally build a freaking chain again. Here we go! Ooh. Mega Puyo is so dependent on speed, which I'm not good at. Because I have the reaction time of a dead brick. Oh, I actually did it. Holy hell. So the funny thing about Ringo's victory lines is that most of them are basically just I beat X. So I tried to at least shake up how she says I beat X a little bit. Made a substitute in chat. Mood on being unable to play midstream. Tried streaming Puyo Puyo 2 and Sun and didn't go so well for me. Yeah, it's like performance effect is what they call it. Nova Star, Mega Transformation is OP. Only if you're fast enough. So okay, what have you guys been talking about? There's a lot of stuff you have been talking about. Pink Sheep in the chat. Whenever I hear Puyo Shobut, I always think of Kero Puyo Shobut. one of Shazu's best moments. Oh god, 20. Generally, Shazu is great. We're gonna meet him later. Okay, so I need to move Chibi Neni out of the way because she is... Actually, I am already here, so... Goodbye. Sorry, Chibi Neni. Not a good time for you. So, Proto in the chat. Shout out to some popular blogger who realized the who read the Chronicle translation videos and instead insisted that Sig was Flanderwized and hated the game vocally for ruining his character. That's how bad the Nexus translation fucked up things in the English fandom. Well, okay. It's partially this, and how do I say this? How do I put this delicately? Because everybody worked really hard on the Chronicles patch. How do I put this? Chronicles story mode is not very good. I'm sorry, I had to say it. And it's not just like, this is... I can't say too much on it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Just, there's a lot worth their playing. Please play the patch when it is out. But I'll just say it ahead of time that, like, let's say it like this. Chronicle Story Mode doesn't have a credited writer. The current writer of the series, Utako Yoshino, had a dispute with Sega at the time because Sega wanted to force her to work on gacha games, which she didn't want to do because she doesn't like gacha games. And as a result, Puyo Puyo Chronicle did not have a credited writer. We don't know who wrote it, but it was not somebody who had experience with writing Puyo at the time. So, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I'm very sorry to say this. But it's still worth playing just for Refusol. Trust me, please play it. What else have you guys been saying? So. Airbox is in the chat. Wait, if Al is the mother of demons, does that make her Sig's mother in a past life? I mean, you're free to write that fanfic. Nobody is stopping you. Pink Sheep, as ranking the game is quite a pain. It depends on, like, I'm not that good at Puyo, so for me, yeah, but it depends, honestly. I'm so happy with how I managed to, like, I didn't have to change much for Sig, because, like, Sig was actually really well done in the Nexus translation.
体育館ってもちろん知っているけど、そこに何かあるの？うん、友達がいる。オッケー、ついておいでよ。
Here we go! Help! Help! I do not like you! Go away! Let's continue. By the way, translating like the episode titles for the skeletons it got increasingly annoying. Like, not annoying, but ridiculous, basically. Furaketsu in the chat. Maybe I'll get my consoles fixed. I'll be able to play these patches. Ouch! I have that horrible habit of accidentally break out. That hurts me. That hurts me so much. Like, I figured out, like, the other day that my old Wii is broken, and that hurt me, even though it's, like, half my age at this point. Naftali Watson in the chat. Is my man Dapper Bones in this game? Unfortunately not. He was replaced with whatever this is. Nobody is happy about it, but we need to accept it. I'm sorry. That's what and this is what I meant with all of the ends of the catchphrases always ridiculous. Like, in Japanese, what he said here was like, a samurai who has fallen from grace. Which that was why I went with something so depressing here. Okay, 6 lines in the scene are extremely weird. Because basically all he does, constantly, well, at least he does it twice, but that's for his for him, that is basically constantly. All he does is constantly point out that these guys are skeletons. And that there's no reason for it, he just does it. And I was very confused on what to do with those lines, and I had to somehow put it in context and make something out of it. So, here he said that those are bones. And so I put this, because it flowed better But yeah, there was no information lost because there was no information here. Those lines were just there. Maybe I could have done better, honestly, with those lines, but I hope this works. Description of the video says this is Puyo Puyo. Oh fuck! Okay, let me fix this. I think this is probably because I copied the settings from my last Puyo stream and I had Fever 2 in there. Let me fix this. And now it should be fixed. God damn it! Thank you for pointing that out. I've been streaming for an hour. I had the wrong game on for an hour. Help! Hope the Scorbunny chat spooky, scary skeletons sending shivers down your spine. I mean, it is the correct season. Pink Sheep, 0 out of 10. Oh, Shadowbones isn't in the game. I'm very sorry. Oh yeah, I need to click on the window again. And before anybody says that this isn't original hardware, I have 4 Wiis in this room. I just don't have anything to connect them to my PC. I don't have an AOE capture card. Gomenasai. And here's some more lines that I pretty much kept exactly the same from the DS patch, because they worked. Oceano in the chat. 4. 1 is my broken childhood Wii that tried to eat my copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee the other day. 2 I bought for cheap off eBay, because I would like to mod some Wiis sometime. And 1 is my brother's Wii that he gave to me because my Wii tried to eat Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And also because the 2 Wiis that I bought don't have GameCube functionality. You guys in the chat, that's a lot of Wiis. I'm a retro game collector. What did you expect? Sell in the chat. I'm going to go out to God on a Fatal 4 playthrough I've been waiting for. That's more than fair. See ya! Okay, this is Nazo Puyo. I love Nazo Puyo. Pink Sheep in the chat. I have a Wii U, and a Switch. I have all of these too. Sometimes even multiples. As I said, I am a collector. Oh yeah. I should focus on clearing Puyo. Here we go. I won. There we go. Quote in the chat, the Wii is retro. Thank you for giving me a midlife crisis at age 25. What am I supposed to say? I am 29. I have a midlife crisis every day these days. Just remembering how old my Wii is makes me cry. Hop the Scar Bunny, how much do Wiis go for on eBay? Like 15 bucks? Maybe less. Epic says in the chat, I get that Ringo got the Ovanimo spell from Owl and the general ability to do magic from a light, but where did she learn these spells? I think she just came up with them. I think she just made them up, and it works. Because... Ocean in chat, it's so weird that those guys make up for a bona fide Inquisition. God damn it. Isn't Sans ours? Because the Deltarune stream was the other week. Again, in Japanese he just points out that there are skeletons and they are pale. He just says, 3 pale skeletons. That's all he said in Japanese. 3 pale skeletons. No idea what to do with that line, so this is what I came up with. Made a substance within the chat. I wonder how different this game would have been with the magical girl concept. Oh god, do I ever wonder about that. I love that concept so much. I would totally like make... I did actually start making an AU based off it. I'm so sad they didn't use it. Pink Sheep in the chat, the Wii Mini is not cheap. It is cheap! I got one for 10 bucks! Made a substitute. Sig also cannot possess Skeleton T's presence. Okay, fair. Fair. Oh yeah, okay, so, I hope B is still here, because I can hear self-congratulating laughter from the schoolyard. What? I wonder about that. Hop the score, Bunny. What can the Wii Mini even play? Wii games. Only Wii games. Photo Suzerain Worldcast using this magic to do all these spells they just thought of out of nowhere. Meanwhile, there's Sonic and Tetris 2 bursting out a literal god form just to pop some slimes. A salute to Sonic drawing chaos power from Puyo. Daily dose of dopamine in the chat. Rabies! It begins! It begins! Pink Sheep in the chat. Oh, we already said that. Know when to start. Rafina is the best girl. Oh, here we go, Rafina time. As you can see, I translated her laughter as the ho-ho-ho's here. In Japan, not in Japanese, in the DS patch they still use the Latidas from Fever 1, but back then they didn't have the new localization standards. According to the new localization standards, I also wrote her we also wrote her name with an A. But yeah, she gets her ho-ho-ho's. No Lati dying for you, Rafina. As I said, I made sure that Ringo's lines sound like something that Cassandra Lee Morris would voice. In Japanese, it's kind of hard to translate her sometimes because of the aforementioned nerdy traits. She often sounds like she's narrating her own autobiography as she is still, as she is living it. I think it worked. Okay, this annoys me. This annoys me because in every other game except this one, he constantly gets her name wrong, but here he gets it right, and we don't know. I don't know why. And there's Japanese fans who, because of this, have theorized that Sig is getting it wrong on purpose usually, and that's his way of messing with her. And he's just not in the mood to mess with her right now. And actually, I can buy that. And B in the chat is like at full power. Ketsu in the chat it has at midnight. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But hey, you can always rewatch the video later. Vanta in the chat. Hello, Neni. I'm liking the drip you have this stream. I'm Amity. And I'm gonna be a great sorceress one day. And the Rafina misspellings in the chat have begun. Quote in the chat, as unfitting as it is, do at least think that changing it to Latida to fit with the original Fever dub would probably how 7 would have localized it back in the day. I mean, they would have. They would have. But hey, it's 2021 and I do what I want. Sides on the chat, Neni isn't letting me do homework. Hey, I did work next to watching a Puyo 7 stream today. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. Thank you, those of the women in the chat. Chris, get the banana. Are we? We are being haunted by the Deltarune stream. I actually kept a lot of the DS Patches dialogue in this scene, just because it was really good and it flowed correctly. I think they had a pretty good handle on Rafina. I know that in the old patch they just had like Ringo say that it is somewhere in their home dimension, but no, in this, like in the Japanese, Ringo actually thinks that like the entire dimension they come from is called Primp Town, and somehow I find that adorable, but also kind of weird. I love how obsessed Rafina and Rulu are with their legs. It's just like, I get it, you didn't skip leg day. Wonderful, you get a medal. Oceano in the chat. Why are they using the same uniform, by the way? Nobody knows. Like, nobody knows why everybody in this game is wearing the Suzuran uniform. It's just something the game did. As I said, this game theming is all over the place. They just did things and there was no reason for it. Like the transformation battle mechanic here that you see on the screen right now. That is a leftover from an earlier version of the game where Ringo was a magical girl and the transformation mechanic made sense because she was a magical girl. But they dropped that, but it's still here. It's still here. They freaking 7. Made a substitute in the chat. I really like Shazu's super cute cloak though. I cannot disagree with that. It looks adorable. Abax says in the chat, with Felicia and Rulu never skip leg day. I love you guys. Okay, I'll go with both, even though that's a bad idea, because I just love the, like, guessing what I'll get next. Even though you can actually tell what your next translation is gonna be based on the Puyo you pop. Also, you can actually quick drop in this mode, but I'm somebody who's often too lazy to quick drop. So this is transformation mode is pretty similar to Fever. Except transformations happen a lot more often than fever because they are also triggered by deleting garbage Puyo, and not only by offsetting. Also, you can hard drop. Also, you are invincible while in transformation. I did a thing! Not good, not sure if I did thing good, but I did thing! And there she goes again. Here I go! And I continue my journey to absolute glory! Sent her all the garbage back. Thank good. Thank good? Thank God. Well, thank Mal. Mal is God. Thank Mal. Thank her. This is... We've translated the game to be enjoyed as Mal intended it. As you can tell right now, I'm just trying to build towards another transformation because I think this is the... I don't know, I can actually win outside of transformation 2. I don't know, I don't feel like it. I want to transform again, it's fun. Okay, now I go into Chibi Puyo. Here we go. Oof! Am I gonna fucking die? Was it over? Oh god, I suck. Oh god, I suck! As you can see, I kept her win quote from... this is a good chance to show you that I kept her win quote. I did this on purpose to show you that I kept her win quote from FIFA 1. Yeah, that's the only reason I lost just now, to show you this. I did it on purpose. You know, don't say I don't in the chat, you suck. What have you guys been saying in the meantime? So, what have you guys been talking about? Fuwa Cats in the chat, the original outfits... Oceana chat, Sig is now the magical girl. Fuwa Cats in the chat, the original outfits were too incomprehensible to the people of this world, so this is just how we see them. Oh gosh. Made a substitute in the chat, you can predict the modes. Yes, the modes depend on... the last Puyo you pop before entering transformation. Proto in the chat, the uniforms were only used for this game and the only thing from it that stayed was Amity's hat, strangely enough. Yep. I'm okay with the beanie. I just wish they kept the wings. Even on my cosplay, I put the wings. As you can see, I put the wings on my cosplay because how dare you take the rings from her head? The rings are part of her identity as a student of Primp Town Magic Academy. So what else? Daily dose of dopamine. Run over children in my Honda Civic. Okay! I think that was another name for Rafida. Quote in the chat. Oh, that's right. Puyo Tetris 2 just straight up made a new god for the universe and she's most likely stuck in the crossovers app only. Well, we don't know that for sure. Because while the Tetris company owns Tetris, Sega does have the rights to the characters that were made up for the Puyo Tetris games. So technically they are all full Puyo characters, and when the plot allows it, can be used. So they can use them again, they are just not allowed to have them play Tetris or talk about Tetris or reference Tetris. I mean, that would be difficult with the people of the SS Tetra, but I think with Mal, since she's God, she could have reasons to not talk about Tetris but still show up. Hey Amy! Glad to see you here! What did I... so, made a substitute. Oof, Mal's too cute to not appear in non-crossovers. Absolutely agree! We must! We all believe in our Lord and Savior. Made a substitute. The wings are really cute. They are! I love them! Pink sheep in the chat. Is it just me or does the Puyo 7 art style look like a Flash game? It does. It does. It kind of does. Continue! Amy in the chat. Being a student is tiring. Send help. I'm sending you good Wingo vibes for good grades. Cooler in the chat, the goddess who treats Tetris as Voldemort in the non-crossovers. I mean, pretty much. The game that must not be named. Back when you played the game that must not be named. For legal reasons. That must not be explained. Here we go! Pink sheep in the chat. By the way, if you retry a stage, the most you can get is an A rank. That explains a lot. Thank you. I'm not going for all S ranks right now. Because I know that I kind of suck at Puyo. And she died. Wonderful. I don't know how, but I beat an actual martial artist. After the second try. General Teddy in the chat. The game that must not be named. I love you. I know I said that, but still. Quote in the chat. I sure hope Mal can stay. Having the actual first god since the old compile games opens up doors to a lot of lore being in the series, both old and new. I agree! It's amazing! Fubaketsu, lore. I know, it's delicious. Oceana in the chat. She'll get the Sora in Smash treatment, erasing Donald and Goofy from existence. Rafina, what? Rematch? This can't possibly have been right. I mean, it's not like I hit the button and it's... Never mind! Daily dose of dopamine. How many words have I said with R yet? I have no idea. I have no idea. Cool in the chat. It's hilarious how easy it was the second time around. Yeah, the AIs can be like that. Emmy in the chat. Ring does Puyo's reaction here is just like, yeah, this is a line I kept from the DS translation because it's the perfect translation for this line, even with the delivery. Emmy in the chat just doing bringing in Deltarune memes. For a small price of licensing fee, you too can say the word Tetris. Emmy, are you implying that that Tetris is hyperlink blocked? So the funny thing is, like, in this game it's made very clear that Ringo is terrible at learning new names, especially when they're not Japanese names. While that isn't directly mentioned in future games, it is outright said in this game that this is the reason why she loves to just describe people instead of calling them by their names. In fact, with a lot of characters she does that to this day. That's why in Tetris 2 she doesn't say Sig but at one point, but says the turquoise boy who doesn't say a lot. It's a habit of hers because she tends to forget people's names, and when she does that, instead of fumbling them up, she just describes the person in a very Buffy-ish way. I kept the unscientific here, even though it wasn't in the original text, because it's something that Ringo would say. It doesn't lie about what she is saying, because she actually only says, "I am worried about what you just said." And I think those two are very probably the reason. Those two adjectives in here that I put in here are probably the reason why she is worried. Proto in the chat, new character in the next Puyo game's gonna be like, so Mal represents the Puyo world. What's that square guy represent? And Squares and Mal go, anyway, enough about it. Daily dose of dopamine. Tetris has always been hyperlink blocked. Chris just wanted to play Tetris 99. Emmy in the chat, I think Chris would be pretty good at Tetris. I mean, people have already done the "Goddammit Chris, where are we" meme with Puyo several times, so he can see it. Pink sheep, it costs $400,000 to say redacted for 1 second. Emmy in the chat, they have? God, I'm missing out. I posted like several of them in the Toby Fox chat on our server. You didn't see? I'll share them with you later. In fact, while we were like playtesting this patch, Sayata actually like kept the mod to have Ringo replaced with Susie on while we were playtesting the patch. So every time Sayata posted a screenshot of his like dialogue corrections, we had Susie instead of Ringo, and it was hilarious AF. Sayata, Neni, did you share mine in that? I definitely did, yes. Pink sheep, what server? My personal server, Emmy in the chat can give you the Discord code for it. Everybody's allowed to join. It's a general, like, nerdery server where you're allowed to nerd about everything. You can share a pic here, Neni. I don't want to search right now, I want to continue the game. It's not a private server. Emmy here is a mod. I would like to ask Emmy to share like the Discord in white code, please. Mary in the chat. Toby Fox and Puyo collab when? I want it now! If pretty much every single Sega game ever released can do it, then freaking Toby Fox can do it! Here we have Feli. Just Feli. Feli is like interesting to translate because she's like the one character where I really don't like how they translated her in English in the Tetris games, and not because of Aaron Fitzgerald's performance. No, Aaron Fitzgerald does an amazing Feli. It's just they basically removed like most of her speech quirks from almost everything except her battle lines, and I don't know why, because her speech quirks are amazing. So this is like one of the few cases where I stuck with the speech quirks as they are usually translated in fan translations. Proto, hey, we're at my favorite Pwimp girl, but Feli isn't actually from Pwimp. Feli is from like an unnamed city across the desert, and the school she's going to is actually like a school that doesn't have a... I personally, we don't know the name of the school, but we know that its emblem is a shooting star, so I call it Shooting Star Magic School. I personally call it Shooting Star Magic School. But yeah, Feli is not technically from Pwimp. Made a substitute in the chat. I will never forgive the yeah. I understand that. Naftali Watson, can we get a Puyo Puyo 99? Somebody actually made a mod that is that. It's chaotic as hell and it's amazing. Cool in the chat. Puyo Puyo Dragalia crossover where they are allowed to use lore. Amazing. Quote in the chat, honestly, with Undertale's popularity in Japan, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a small collab going to happen someday. I hope so, God, I hope so. I just hope, like, it would be cool if they allowed, like, a Puyo minigame in one of Toby's games. So, about this line, this is important. The old patch just translated this as the 9-inch nail, which is literally what she says, but the problem is we are missing cultural context here. 9-inch nails in Japan are used in a famous curse that basically the curse is called Ushi no Toki Mairi. It's a curse where you can only do the curse if you're a girl. You can only do the curse if nobody watches you, and you have to do it 7 days in a row. You have to go to a tree that has previously been blessed, and you have to nail a doll that looks like somebody you hate to that tree. You have to do it 7 days in a row, and if you manage to do it every single time without being caught, the person whose doll you nailed to the tree will die. People have actually been sued over attempting to do this in real life. Yes, that has happened. Anyway, so basically, what Feli is doing here right now is trying to murder somebody with a doll that she is hammering a nail into. I have joked with friends that the doll is probably wearing purple and a hat and has a tiny, like, book-shaped piece of wood in its hand. That is my headcanon. Oceana in the chat, Lucky Star Magic Academy. Perfect. No, Oceano, no, it is not the nail soloing thing, thankfully. Mary in the chat, no, that is dedication. Yep. Mary in the chat, how much does one have to hate someone to put this much work to curse someone? Don't ask me, ask the people who have been sued for this. Oceano, does the Japanese Ministry of Justice have a magic department? I don't actually know. Daily dose of dopamine in the chat, Ringo called the police. This is attempted murder. I mean, the chat, dang, this is some hyperlink block. That's...
すごい。ちょっとドキドキしてきた。 私の邪魔したいわけ？おすんくぎ舐めてるとこごめん。
In Japanese, she just says, "I'm sorry to interrupt you as you're handling 9-inch nails." But like Ringo clearly knows what she's doing, hence why I put it like this.
私は安藤りんご。学校の上空に現れた不思議に満ちた空間の歪み的なものについて。
By the way, the reason I kept it as space warp thingy is because the way they express it in Japanese is very much like very Buffy-ish. So yeah, this suits.
知っていたら教えてほしいんだ。
May the substitute, sorry to interrupt your murder curse. I am glad that this line caught on. Another streamer also loved it. I love you guys, love it. Kazuna in the chat, I'm sad I missed most of this conversation as things like Ushitoki no Mairi and other Japanese magic practices are literally my major. Glad to see we have like an expert here. You can answer like the questions that people have about this murder curse in the comments, Kazuna. Thank you.
それは知らない方がいいわ。はい？占いにそう結果が出てきたわ。
Okay, again, actually here I changed a bit of the dialogue to make the flow better. Because in Japanese, and I think actually the DS translation was closer to what the Japanese says here, but it didn't flow quite right. At least in my opinion. In Japanese, what she says here is like, it might be better if you don't know. Japanese, Ringo says a confused yes. And then Feli says, this is the result of my divination. In Japanese this flows right, but in English this doesn't quite flow right. So I changed what they say a little bit, but not to the point that I changed what the conversation is about.
そう。運命には逆らえない。
But this is where it's just a straight translation from Japanese again.
それより私と勝負したいのなら覚悟しなさい。
And now come two text boxes that I absolutely love translating. Because they also 100% Ringo, and it was really fun putting this into English.
行きがかり上理不尽な展開に巻き込まれてみたいと思います。
I loved translating this part. I don't actually know why I left the Nexus line here. It worked still. Again, you can clearly hear that she just says let's in Japanese. I didn't feel like it was worth putting it back to just let's. And I put the again here because of her like inflection. The inflection makes it clear that that's what she means. Kazuna, because of the question, somebody asked if like the Japanese Department of Justice has like Ministry of Justice has like a magic department. Please tell us about that. I would love to hear about that. Going with both again because I hate myself. And also because I love both of Ringo's forms and can't decide which one I like more. Because I don't like any more. They are both adorable. And Magical Girl Ringo will always be real in my heart. Here we go. Okay, yeah, now it works. Okay, yeah, now the timing works. I thought I had the timing wrong, but I think this actually worked out fine. go, Chibi Ringo! I'm so glad that the AI is really, really bad at Deca Puyo. Like at Mega Puyo. Like the AI really can't chain with Deca Puyo good. It's just not fast enough. She's dead. She's absolutely murder. There we go. Oh, we didn't get like the win quote that I want. But whatever, it's fine. I would really recommend you look through all the win quotes. I mean, some of them are a little bit boring, but like again, almost all of the win quotes are different from the DS translation, just because the DS translation made up almost all of the win quotes. Neftali Watson in the chat, committing murder. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let me come back later. Cool in the chat that Ministry of Justice having a magic department is the most modern fantasy thing ever. I love it too. Quote in the chat, very convenient of the magical Suzerain school uniforms to keep Valley school emblem armband. How accommodating. You are very right. Made a substitute in the chat. Side note, Echolo's spells make me happy. Hey, we're not there yet. Wait till we're there. Made a substitute in the chat. Listen, Felly needs her aesthetic one way or another. Very true. Oceano in the chat burned the witch. Made a substitute. I will record all the lines. Side in the chat. Neni, tell them that Puyo Nexus even were used Puyo Sunlines for us. Oh yes. Oh gosh. Oh yes. Oh gosh. So okay. Sada and I actually had access to the development document that the old patch used to translate the game. So we actually know the thought processes between a lot of the translations they did. And for Al's win lines, there was literally a comment in that document which just went, these lines are boring. I am putting Al's Puyo Puyo San win lines instead to mix things up. Yes, they actually put that in there. Yeah. Naftali Watson Ringo can clearly say no, but chooses not to. Not in this world! Daily dose of dopamine. My favorite spell is Bogon Bogus Sasimo. God damn it. It makes people walk away and not socialize with you. Nova Star Felly had a pillow in other Puyo games. She did, and I think I don't know why she got rid of the pillow, but I like that they're mixing things up a bit. Quote in the chat, these lines are boring. Never a good sign. I know. Made a substitute. That's not how translations work. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the problem. Look, I agree. Puyo 7 did not have the most exciting script in the series. Absolutely not. That there's like a lot there that could have been more exciting, but that doesn't mean you get to put your fanfic in the game, in my opinion. Emmy in the chat, were they that boring? Yes or no? Yes, a lot of the win lines in this game are boring. They are. But that isn't like a reason to put your fanfic in the game and make people think your fanfic is canon for 10 plus years. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah. This is where she admits it that she sucks at names. So if you ever wondered why in the Tetris games Ringo calls Felly the evil, spooky, scary girl, and Sig the turquoise boy who doesn't say a whole lot, this is why. She's bad at names. That's the whole reason. Quote in the chat, changing these lines would have been more fitting for a fan-made story extension. Like something that adds more detail for the sake of adding more to the story, not for the actual game. Exactly. I 100% agree with this. Absolutely. Kazuna in the chat, explaining to us. Well, for centuries, the imperial government had a bureau of onmyo. Oh god, onmyo is a kind of wizardry in Japan. Whose job it was to manage the certification of court wizards and priests, as well as govern the making of the calendar and the yearly cycle. This is amazing, I love it. Amazing, I love it, thank you. I need to ask you more sometimes. Yay, ass! Daily dose of dopamine. Very tempting to make fun of Amity's name too, simply because I know a lot of words that start with A. Oh no! Amy in the chat, that sounds kind of cursed. That sounds literally cursed, Amy. Not kind of. Quote, listen, if we mess with Amity's name, we won't get any better than anti-disestablishmentarianism. So here, Ringo is singing here. Ringo's singing has only been translated in the official English once so far, which was the line in Puyo Tetris 2, where she sings about the starship. It wasn't translated in Tetris 1, where it actually was in a Japanese script, but they just kind of ignored it. So I was extremely happy when they translated it in English in Tetris 2. One thing that they did there, however, was like they changed the song lyrics a bit to make it flow better as an English song, because songwriting in English is a bit different, especially children's songs, than it is in Japanese. Japanese songwriting tends to be more repetitive, is what I noticed. On purpose, because the Japanese language is a language where repetition doesn't sound as wrong as in English. So I kind of tried to go for the same thing and made the song less repetitive by having her use like different phrasings of the same thing. And that's why she's singing Sagasuyo, Sagasuyo, Sagasuyo here, but I'm using different phrasings for it every time. That is my explanation. Continue. And here we go! Best girl is appearing! Here she is! Best girl has come to grace us with her, well, no wings. Can somebody draw wings on her, please? She feels naked without the wings. You need the wings for the true experience. You need wings. They're adorable. And I'm not talking about chicken wings. So yeah, here we have In Search of the Red Puyo Head. Well, we already found it, not a pretty long search. Made a substitute, I would if I was on comp. Understandable, thank you. Oceano, the uniform looks good on her. I think she was actually one of the first characters they designed with the uniform on. So I think the uniform was actually designed with Amity in mind, funnily enough. I mean, the chat, chicken wings it is. No! Dear. Quote in the chat, there was a KFC crossover in Quest. Oh no! Oceana, it's like she came out of Treewee. That is true! That is true! Continuing.
そうでもないような。
So, the current state of things is this. This is what is. Wait, you're seeing it the other way around. This is what is currently happening. This is the way you're seeing it, right? Yeah, it is. It is good. I'll do it like this. This is now a puppet show.
なんて歯切れの悪い。そもそもここはどこかな。私は誰だっけ。記憶喪失。ありがちパターン。ぷよぷよ勝負したらはっきりするかもしれないな。オッケー。それは分かりやすい解決方法だよ。レッツ。ぷよ勝負。
I had to do this. I'm very sorry. Daily dose of dopamine. What? Is it about Amity having amnesia or about KFC? KFC is very popular in Japan. Naftali Watson MYT. Fuwa Cats in the chat. This stream is holding my attention well enough to not let me give in to my urge to continue repressing Shin Madoka. Come on, no! Quote in the chat. Oh, Nova's in the chat. Amity's English voice is very cute. Amity's English voice actress, and I was actually really surprised to figure that out, is Madoka. Madoka Kaname. So no surprise that she is good at voicing like a female. She's good at anime noises, and like Amity, if you have ever heard, like, as you can hear her Japanese voice, Amity is all anime noises. She is made of anime noises. They got the perfect actress for her. Also, as you can see, again, the Nexus translation had a lot of Puyo Fever 1 references with Amity, and because it's Amity, I kept almost all of them. Because why not? They even have her say the Puyo Pop line at least once in the official localization of the Tetris games, so I left this. Daily dose of dopamine. Neni plays with dolls confirmed. General Teddy, oh god, her head is alive. It actually canonically is alive. It is alive canonically. It has spoken to her twice, but she doesn't know it because she was half asleep both times. Kazuna in the chat, with people trying to use curses in modern day, well, it really depends. Official curses like Ushitoki have been considered as nothing than superstition according to the government since the Meiji era. Good. Pink Sheep in the chat, why not Puyo Battle instead of Puyo Pop? Because it's Amity. And again, they keep, like, they have Amity talk about popping Puyo a whole lot in the Tetris games too. I thought it was cute, so I kept it. Daily dose of dopamine Teddy, her head is a brain-sucking parasitic creature. That was a nightmare that Ringo had in one of the comics. Like in one of the tie-in comics, Ringo actually had a nightmare with this, where she was actually asked Amity about her head, and this was the answer she got. But this is not canon. She has taken off her head in canon before. She can't take it off. Usually, not always, but usually she can't take it off. But that was a nightmare Ringo actually had. Kazuna in the chat, so technically speaking, trying to curse someone is not technically a crime, but you might be charged with vandalism or trying to do Ushitoki in a shrine. Fascinating. I'm glad to. Actually, I wanted to know this. I'm actually glad to know this now because I was wondering about that. If you could like be charged for attempted murder. Oh, Fubaketsu is drawing a Shin Mado coming. Oh, I want to see that honestly. Please share it with me too when you're done. Naphtali Watson lost her memory but still knows what a Puyo battle is. You can't take the Puyo out of the Amity. It's impossible. Here we go. Also, I think I drank too much Puyo tea. I might have to use the bathroom soon. But I will beat Amity before that. Yeah, that didn't work out as I expected. How to not play Puyo with Neni. Please don't beat me up, Amity. I did nothing wrong. Well, at least if I lose this, okay, I will not lose this, but if I lose this, you get to see Amity's victory lines, and they are actually kind of scary. Made a substitute. I'm still wondering why Amity's the only one with amnesia. Well, my headcanon is that, like, this time-space travel hit her bad. God, I am bad at this right now. Probably because this is what happens when you play Puyo when you actually have to use the bathroom, kids. Never play Puyo when you need to go to the bathroom. You will be very bad at Puyo. This is my wisdom for today. Kazuna in the chat, I actually do not know why Ushitoki Mairi is called that. I mean, I know what Ushitoki Mairi means. It means like shrine visit at the time of the cow. But I don't know what the time of the cow is. Would you explain that to me? I would be really glad. Ah, god damn it! God, I think Amity is murdering me. Yeah, oh god, I could have saved that. Can I still survive? Will I live? Will I die? Oh no! Fa! God damn it, Amity. Okay, I am taking a quick break. Let me put some text on screen. Won't take long, but I will. I'll be right back. And also there are 3 battle quotes per battle. have returned. You guys have kept talking while I was gone. Kazuna in the chat. Neni, given your knowledge of Japanese language, can you guess why Yoshitoki Mighty is? Oh yeah, you know, I cannot guess. Please tell me. Made a substitute in the chat. After this and possibly gym, I'm definitely gonna get to work on loose wing quotes collection. I am so happy that you want to do this. It's useful. Thank you. Oceana Japan. No! 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 Don't say that! Cooler in the chat. Ah yes, living head's my favorite. Proto in the chat. We try. Yes. No. 5-minute break. I will remove the 5-minute break now. Goodbye 5-minute break. It was a nice break. Fua Cats in the chat. You know, I direct you to my Twitter or Tumblr, but I know that neither of them have the same username as what you're seeing right now. Oh, that's what you're talking. Oh, I would love to see it too. The retry force. Thank you guys. You are great. Luca is here. Hi Luca. Nice to see ya. So, Kazuna in the chat, gladly. So at the time of the cow, or ox more accurately, is roughly the time from 1 AM to 3 AM. This is because in Japan for many years they named both the... Oh, because you need to go like at 1 AM or 3 AM to make sure nobody sees you while casting your murder curse. I understand, thank you. Yeah, Uncle Dare in the chat. Amity be like, I won, but at what cost? Said in the chat, hey Neni, I wonder if you would like link my patch to the video. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. Just hang on a sec, I will do that. I need link. Link, where did you put the link? There it is. Yeah, sorry for the stuttering. Yeah, I just need to get the link. This is how you kill your stream, everybody. How to kill stream like this. Thank you. So let me put this in the description. Patch. Here we go. It should be in there now. And now it should be in there. So I won, but at what cost? Kazuna in the chat, actually that's not quite the reason why they did it at the time. Oh, okay. I would love to hear more. So let's continue. Sorry that you kept staring at that screen for so long. We will now actually beat Amity, because now I have the power to. I feel refreshed. I feel powerful. I feel like an all clear is coming on. Yes! Good! Haha! I did it! With the correct timing too! Haha! I think in the DS translation, they actually left out that hits the spot in the translation. She actually, like, Tsukiri actually means that in Japanese, so I basically put that back in. I don't know why they left it out. Yeah, Uncle Dare in the chat, Amity fucking dun dun. Quote in the chat, made a substitute in the chat. Hyperfixation culture is needing the maximum amount of info, but nobody gives it to you, so you have to do everything yourself. Oh god, that's such a mood. That is such a mood. Look, Leica in the chat. Oh boy, this mood mode. Yeah, transformation is weird AF. Honestly. Quote in the chat. This is way before he actually appears in the game. But I just want to say that I wish Chaz's hat was just harmlessly detachable. I know they won't ever do it, but so many jokes can arise from it. So the thing with Chaz's detached hat is like, this was like, Chazo losing his hat was like in one port of the very first game he appeared in. Only one port. That port is not considered, I think, canon by any other game, even within the compile run. And the thing is, it's treated as a joke, even in that game. That said, I kind of wish that the games had treated that as canon, and that basically for the rest of the series, Chazo had been a ghost. Like, just a ghost. Chazo is just a ghost now, that's just how he is now. And then in the Sega era, he could have chilled with you and Ray in the graveyard. That is a timeline that exists in my head. And it will there. Will always exist in my head. Made a substitute chuck his head at people like the Headless Horseman. Like in the chat, Mini Puyo I can handle, but the other I will perish. So Mega Puyo just means that you have to be fast. Don't think, just fast. Sakura in the chat. Hello Neni, Puyo 7 has an interesting art style, I gotta say. Yeah, it's pretty different from most of the other games, honestly. Especially in terms of color choices. Quote in the chat, Chazo casually insults Satan and Satan just goes, you wanna come up here and say that? Chazo, I'm ahead. Satan, then you should quit while you are ahead. While you are... I loved it. We need that timeline. We need the timeline where Chazo is just a headless ghost. Please. Kazuna in the chat. It goes back to the impact of Chinese feng shui on Japanese magic. The ox zodiac sign covers both a time of day and a direction. And in both feng shui and on Myodo, the ox and tiger, both directions at the time, were associated with demons and malevolent forces. Yep. Yeah, that sounds like fairly alright. That sounds right. Amazing. Thank you. Abrax says in the chat, Sega compile. Sega took our waifus. So we met Sega or waifu. Hyperdimension Neptunia. I mean, pretty much. Made a substitute. I'm not sure I can add people properly here or not, and that's bugging me. I actually don't know either. It's kind of annoying. If if you add me, I actually see that comment highlighted, so that helps. So okay, some people are going to ask me here, why sorcerers? Why not magician or magic user, which are the two other ways that this has been translated into English before? I know that Precise Museum also uses different words for this catchphrase. The reason I personally, when in my personal translations, insist on sorcerer and sorceress for Madoshi is because the Mado and Puyo games both differentiate between Mahotsukai, which is magic user, and Madoshi, which is like master of the art of magic. And since Mado Monogatari is usually translated as sorcery saga, and even translated as this by Compile, who made the Mado games, I conclude that Madoshi is intended to be translated as sorcerer. Hence why I insist on using sorceress and sorcerer when the word Madoshi and not Mahotsukai is used. Hence why I use sorceress here. Pink Sheep in the chat, the song is literally called My Dream is to Become a Great Sorceress. Yeah, pretty much. Airbook says sorceress means male and magic user in history. Well, tell Compile that! They clearly didn't know. Quote in the chat, Felly just goes, "What up, demons? It's me, your boy." Yeah, pretty much. Daily dose of dopamine. I'm not gonna talk too much, gonna draw my OC Coco so I need to focus, which is hard enough already thanks to ADHD. Understandable! Enjoy your drawing. I'm glad you're here at all, honestly. Kasuna in the chat. So Ushitoki no Mairi, as a curse intended to harm someone, had to be cast at a time when such dark forces were active. Also, fun fact, the association of the ox and tiger with demons is how we get the concept of yeah! Because horns and tiger stripes, I get it. So, let's continue. By the way, this is also, I really don't want to use the word magician for what Amity is trying to become, because when I think of magician, I think of an illusionist, you know, like Trucy Wright. I don't think of an actual sorceress or like witch or wizard, so I insist on sorceress personally. Ringo actually has common sense, like, I don't overshare, which is what you're doing. You are in fact oversharing, and it is weird. But Amity does not understand this concept because Amity is me, at least in this regard. What is oversharing? I just talk about everything, ever! So yeah, Amity's mind went places again. I don't know what places it went, but it did go places. Yeah, Uncle Dare in the chat, Ace Attorney moment. Look, I cosplayed in the past as Dahlia Hathorn, Maya Fey, and Trucy Wright. I have a lot of Ace Attorney moments in my life. Said Cora in the chat, why do the lines on Ringo's cheeks make her look like she has whiskers? Ask the designer. Hab det skaparen i Ametys mind is an enigma. Anon in the chat. So I just had to leave for an hour and a half. What important stuff has happened in the story since Ringo met Sig? Ringo met Rafina, who led her to Felly. Ringo met Felly, who tried to murder people and then led her to Amity. Ringo met Amity, who had lost her memory and wanted to play Puyo to get her memory back. And just now somebody screamed. Made a substitute in chat. Oh, Huh, what are you talking? I must have missed something because you were talking about the audio dramas? That interests me. I've got to resort to listening to an audio drama entirely in Japanese with no subtitles with very limited knowledge of the language. The things we do for content. I am actually in the process of translating as many of the audio dramas as possible, so please hang in there. I will continue with the audio dramas soon. I was held up with this for a while now. For obvious reasons. This is why I haven't translated an audio drama in a while. But I'm continuing! And I'm glad that you like the audio dramas. I love them too. Abrax says in the chat, the only way for stuff to happen in a Puyo game is for it to happen nearby. Fair. Oh god, yeah, oh god, no. They're here again. I didn't see. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Why are they here? Can't go away. Also, as you see, this is where I started using, like, cheap knockoff movie names for the episodes because, like, the original text gave me that vibe. Revenge. Yeah, Uncle, they are spooky, screaming skeletons. Well, he's the one screaming actually, but close enough! Yeah, again, as I explained earlier, she uses his full name here. I just used his first name because she already introduced him. I think it's fine to just use his name. Like this. Especially because they're supposed to be close friends, so... Wrote in the chat, I got the collector's edition of Chronicle because it was on sale for cheaper than the game. Yeah, that sounds like Chronicle, alright. And I think it comes with the audio drama CDs. I don't know about them, but they're nice to have. We actually already, like, Precise Museum with me as the translator actually already translated one of the tracks on that CD. I think it's actually the first one. I'm not sure about this, but it is a track on that CD. It's absolutely worth checking out because it's an amazing track. It features such amazing things like Klug almost drowning because you and Ray are convinced that referencing an old riddle is more important than saving his life. Mwah. Hop the Score Bunny. Are these skeletons basically Team Rocket? Made the substitute? No, Team Rocket's fun. I agree. I absolutely agree. Okay, this was one of the lines that really annoyed me in the Nexus translation, because in the Nexus translation they instead had Amity say, I know one skeleton but not three. They forced a reference to Dapper Bones in here, which doesn't make you less sad that he's not in there, and it has no place being here. Because Ringo didn't ask if she knows a skeleton. She asked if she knows a trio of skeletons. And Amity randomly saying, oh yeah, there's this guy selling that. No! Don't do that! That is not good fan service in my opinion. Also, I don't like that. Continue! Made a substitute in the chat. It made me more sad that he's not here, not gonna lie. Yeah, agreed. Same. They, by the way, they did the same in 15th with Tata by just randomly mentioning that he is sick at home, which was not in the original script. He wasn't mentioned in the original script. Don't remind us of characters when you have no intent, when they are not there, and you know they are not there. It makes me sad. Yeah, Uncle there. Oshade in Puyo 7 mod release when? I'm pretty sure that mod already exists. Yeah, Ringo is all of us. So this is not only, I admit I was thinking of Monty Python when I translated this line, but it is actually a translation of what she says here in Japanese. I just chose this wording to translate it because, yes, Monty Python, guilty as charged. But it is an accurate translation of what she says in Japanese. It's just there would have been other ways to translate it as well, but I went with this one. Because I'm a connoisseur. No, because I wanted to.
Neni? 我々の登場を邪魔するとは許せぬ。プレッシャーブじゃ。
ほいきた、どんどん。
And this is also pretty literally what she says, yes. I love Ringo, she's amazing.
ぷよ勝負。
Made a substitute in the chat. Ringo is also sick of skeleton tea, which is fair. More than fair, honestly. Honestly, this time I have the highest chat frequency in a long time, and it makes me happy because having you guys like talk to me as I stream makes me feel valid in a very amazing way. So thank you all for being here. I feel great. You validate my reason for existence. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh yeah, we're playing Fever. I keep forgetting that these guys just have random Puyo modes for no good reason, because it doesn't really serve as a tutorial. So I don't really know why, but okay, we're doing this. Also Fever Ringo. I love this music. Why does she sound so happy when she says that she's wrong in this game? Oh, I'm wrong! Here we go. Fuvaket, I think the one I was listening to was the one time something temporarily wiped Al's memories of her friends. Oh god, I still need to translate that one. That other one sounds amazing. Gosh darn it. There's so many great drama CD tracks I still need to translate. Like, basically all of them are amazing. Okay, I will simp here for a moment. Yoshino Otoko is an amazing writer. Not all of the drama CD tracks are by her, but almost all of them. And she is amazing at making the characters feel alive. Kazune, did Neni see my explanations of the Oni? I did. I just didn't have a chance to comment on it. But I'm very, very happy that you said it. I knew that part I knew already, but like, I'm glad that you're talking about this. This is interesting stuff, and I always want my streams to also have like trivia stuff because I'm made of trivia. I am random trivia person, pretty much. Oh, he says thank you twice in Japanese. Once as arigato and then as thank you, and I cut him off. I am sorry, Magura. Okay, so I added a little bit here. Honestly, not much. I added this. It's just as silly as it sounds. I extrapolated it from the fact that she uses dake in Japanese, which, yeah, basically it makes it sound like she can't believe that it's that simple. Hence why I made it a little bit longer. It fits with the inflection here. I was trying to just get the vibe across. That's why I added that sentence. And there Myra goes, oh, by the way, skeletons are attacking your house now. Wait, what? I love, like, she sounds so calm about it. Really? Huh, you're right. They broke a window. fascinating. That the voice acting on Ringo is like generally kind of fascinating in this game because the voice direction is very different from what it is like starting 20th. Ringo sounds like way calmer in this game, which another streamer has already noticed as well. This is part of why I wanted this version with the voice acting to be better known as well, because I think it adds so much. I do like Ringo's voice acting in future games better, actually, but like, this take on her is fascinating to have as well. Made a substitute. I'm happy you're enjoying the stream. I'd love to watch future ones cause this is super fun, but my sleep schedule probably won't allow it, so that remains to be seen. Aw, please, I'm sorry that I'm European. I'm really sorry. But, and I just messed my headphones up. Well, this is bad because now you lost the desktop audio. Is the desktop audio back? Yes, it is back. Very sorry for this. I need new headphones. I've had these for years now. I love them, but they can be like thicky these days. But yeah, I just hope you all are enjoying this, even though it's going on for a very long time and I ramble a lot. But you can always like later watch it on demand as well. So never forget that. Made a substitute. Nothing to do with time zones, everything to do with my old habits. Oh dear. Oh, now comes a scene I really love retranslating. I hope, please enjoy one of my faves. And here he is! Him! Yes. Kazuna in the chat. In the unmuted traditional practice, there was this idea of lucky and unlucky directions. This was also mostly a holdover from Feng Shui. Made a substitute in the chat. Lemon. Why are you calling him Lemon? Why are you calling him? Okay. Anyway, we are at the Green Grocery store, and here is him. Proto in the chat. It would probably be next to impossible to do and equally as pointless, but as a fan and a voice actor, I'd adore a fan-made English dub for the Japan-only Puyo games. Well, I would love it too, but it would also depend on who does it. There was like one person who was, I think still is, doing a dubbing effort for Fever 2, but that person happens to have a habit of harassing children in the Puyo community for various reasons and various ways over and over, and then invade her bans. And I don't want to watch anything that she is involved in, because I am modding like a Puyo subreddit. I know of other people who also mod Puyo subreddits, and banning her is like playing whack-a-mole, and I don't want to like reward her behavior. So yes, it is sad because she has some talent. But no. Also, she has stolen art from a friend of mine and said it is her right to steal that art because it was in a meme. So she doesn't have to credit it and putting watermarks on it is actually rude. Yes, that is the sort of person I'm talking about. Not gonna say who it is. Some people here probably know. But yeah, I don't want to support stuff that she is involved in. I could say more, but I won't. So, made a substitute habit from a friend. We each have our own language, so this nickname caught on. Oh, that's so cute. Like in the chat, is that Lemure? What an icon! I see what you're talking about. Fuba gets in the chat, Princely chuckling in I kin that boy, but I must admit he has bad impulse control. Satan is great. We'll meet him soon. We'll meet him soon, I swear. Anon in the chat, if Anon in the chat was saying something, I think it's interesting because it's different, but the voice changes, so it also makes sense as a character changes. Yeah, especially with Zig, because Zig's voice also changes in interesting ways. I'll go into that another time. I would also love to see, I would just, if I could, if it wasn't illegal, I'd hire all of the official voice actors, English voice actors for these characters to dub the undubbed games. I would do it. I swear I would. So you people yikesing at the person I mentioned? Yep, that is a big yikes. Kazun in the chat, so at the height of all Myoto's cultural popularity, court officials would play their entire schedules around avoiding the unlucky directions. Oh my god. Japan, I love you. Never change, Japan. Yeah, Uncle Dare, funny how the games are okay, but part of the community can be really ass. I mean that, are you talking about every fandom? I think you are talking about every fandom. Made a substitute. I abandoned the fandom about a year ago, so I'm lost. How to have a good fandom? Your fandom is you, the content you make, and the people you trust. That is the fandom. That is how you have a good fandom. That is how you do it. Proto, I did audition for one a while back. It didn't go anywhere, but now I'm worried if she's the one who made the casting call or not. Oh dear. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that I brought up that idea. Kazuna in the chat, and this was such a culturally accepted practice at the time that your boss or loved one looked like he would just accept that you missed an important event because the way of the way to the venue was inauspicious. Honestly, it makes sense that Felly did that. Yeah, Uncle Dea, I was talking about the Puyo fandom specifically. I know you were. But trust me, I have been around the block for a long time. Every fandom is like that. They are all like that in a different way, but they are all like that. Daily dose of dopamine. Every fandom is not all that good, except for Kirby. Kirby seems like the best. I can neither confirm nor deny this. Made a substitute. I only follow Precise Museum and other translation efforts now. Mwah! Love you. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. Made a substitute. I and Proto had a nightmare experience with the Kirby fan. Oh dear. Nothing is sacred. Fubaketsu. Man, I know who you are talking about. They've been stalking and harassing my friend for a while now. And if I physically could, I'd just drag them to hell right now. Yep. We're talking about the same person, definitely. Anon in the chat. Communication is key. It's unfortunate how things have already fragmented in a fandom that is already comparatively small. Yep. Sadly. Yeah, Uncle Dare. Okay, call me when Shazo turns into a floating head and Klug drinks witch potions off screen. Bye. No! Don't leave! We love you. It's okay. I'm glad you were here. Let's continue! Here comes the Lemmers!
私の実家であるところの八百屋さんに着いたよ。
So, hot take. I love Ben Diskin's take on Lemres. He uses a way deeper voice, but it gets the point across, as you can tell, because he also does the well, hello there in English. Hence why I also put it like this. He does it too in English. I know it sounds deeper, but it gets the point across that he is like... I mean, he sounds stoned in English, but I think that's supposed to be, because in Japanese he sounds like the kind of guy who is trying to kidnap kids. at the not at the amusement park, at the playground. So him sounding stoned makes sense, especially because the thing with Lambros is he's always trying to give up like an extremely chill vibe, but he fails. He's bad at it. His attempt to sound very chill and inviting makes him sound like he's going to drag you into a van in broad daylight when nobody is looking. And that's why I think that the stoner voice actually suits him really well. Mwah. Quote on the chat, yeah, I'm also a fan of Lambros' dub voice. Gets his quirks without sounding like a child kidnapper. Honestly, I think it can still be interpreted like this, but you can interpret it both ways, that works. Oceano, I'm back from internet problems. Glad to have you! Oh! Yeah, Uncle Darway in the chat, gonna return when you start pronouncing my name properly. Well, I just did! Ha! Lambros on hard tracks. Proto in the chat, I'm also a fan of Lambros' dub voice. Gets his quirk without him sounding like a child kidnapper. Agreed! I mean, he still does, but you know what I mean. Made a substitute, and now that we're talking about this, the entire Lambros interaction had me laughing in real life. I agree. Oceana, always sugar stoner. I love it. And Anna in chat, candy is basically an addictive drug to him. Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that, because the way it was written when he was like on sugar withdrawal in 20th actually makes me think that he is casting from his blood sugar. That like, he is casting magic from blood sugar. And there would actually be like even a good reason for that in canon, which I'm not going into now. But if he is casting from blood sugar, it means he was having a hypoglycemic attack in 20th, which makes sense because all of his symptoms match up with a hypoglycemic attack like a diabetic would have it. So yeah, I think Lambros was literally dying from hypoglycemia in 20th. And Shazo saved him with cake. That is my headcanon. Quote in the chat, dude, same headcanon. Agreed. Photo, I have the exact same headcanon for Lambros. He offers his candy made from his magic so much that he can't go into withdrawal due to lack of sugar. Anyway, I can talk about this another day. We need to continue now. Made a substitute time for me to finally adopt the headcanon. Great. Continue. Ringa's reaction is great. So fun fact, everybody, like most people in the Japanese version, called him Oni-san. Oni-san doesn't literally mean brother in every context. In this context, it just means like a guy who is not a kid, but is also not an old man, basically. Oni-san is like kind of endearing, but mostly casual term that you use for somebody who's like teen or young adult, basically. And like actually the Fever 2 manual outright states that Lambros is supposed to be like high school aged. I know 15th tries to contradict this, but trust me, that is actually a mistranslation. Lambros is canonically high school aged. We don't know exactly what high school aged, but he is high school aged. Fubaketsu in the chat. Alright, I must share the headcanon with my partner and our friend. Wait, no, not now, while I'm watching the stream. It's okay! I'll still be here for a longer while. Ocean in chat, at least it isn't OG-san. Wait until we get to Satan, you will love it. Yeah, okay, this line got too long, so we had to shorten it. Amity, like the full line is Amity actually says, yes, he's kind of weird and might be that kind of person. That kind of person obviously being child kidnapper. But he's one of the good guys. We had to shorten the line So he might be that kind of person disappeared. Yeah, I guess this. Don't be scared of me. Like that's why I put like the tide in there because of the pronunciation. Just imagine like the English language saying it. Please, please don't be scared of me. And Ringo's reaction. By the way, she says doku doku sugiru in Japanese, so like literally she says they are way too weird. But that wouldn't have flowed right, so I put it like this. In Japanese, like literally she says way too weird. Kasuna in the chat, casting spells with one's blood sugar makes sense actually. I mean, sugar is just carbs and carbs are just energy. I agree. I actually love that concept a lot. I want to use it in my own works. A lot. Made a substitute. I love Lambros so much. I love him too. And on the chat, Lambros' inner Shazo is showing here. Naftali Watson, Candy Wizard. We love our Candy Wizard. Quote in the chat, I'm not a stranger. I'm Lambros is one of the Nexus lines I really like. It's just the right amounts of silly. I mean, true, but I wanted to make it a bit closer to the original, hence why I changed it. Sorry for that. Okay, I left this line as it was a Nexus, but right now I'm like, maybe I should have changed it, because what he literally says here, it's not too big a difference, but what he literally says here is like, let us begin a Puyo tournament where the prize is sweet candy. But they don't actually do a tournament, so I don't know. It's not a tournament, Lambros. What are you even going on about? And even if we translate it like this, Ringo's reaction still makes sense. Talking of which, Ringo's reaction. Okay, it's first Arity's reaction. And now Ringo's reaction. Yeah. By the way, this was the first teaser of this translation that we showed. This screenshot. I still love it. This is like Ringo's entire state of being encapsulated in a single line. Nova Star in the chat, chocolate. I love how like the kind of candy that Lambros waves in people's faces changes periodically every few games. It's like... So, battle again. Use the chance to pile on some more chat. I think I've already murdered him. Or not? Oh, he's still alive? He's not quite dead yet! He is not quite dead yet. Okay, never mind. That wasn't a good decision, but it was a decision! This wasn't a good decision either. I am full of bad ideas today. Oh god, I could talk so much about Lambros' designs in this mode, but I will have to hold back. I can't just wample on lore. I need to focus on actually playing the game, which I am currently not doing. Help! Help! I need to actually play game. Ah, I'm dying! God! Neni! Neni, focus! This is Puyo! We are playing Puyo! So, I am Big Ringo! I am Big Ringo! Hear me roar! Big Ringo time! Big Ringo! Big, or you might not even say Big Apple. Did I survive? I am alive! Yes! Yes! So, okay, I will say this while I play. So, in Puyo Puyo Fever 2, in the item descriptions, it is stated that the kind of, uniform that Lambrus wears is actually, like, a uniform that only fully fledged sorcerers are allowed to wear. And the interesting thing about it is that the color of the uniform reflects, the affinity of, the magic of the person who wears it. So, as you will notice, Lambrus Regular's outfit is a pretty dark shade of green. But, like, his outfits in Chibi mode and especially in Deca mode are significantly lighter shaded. Which is why I think that, like, especially Deca mode is not actually, like, time travel, but based on the character's ideals. These are, like, the character's ideal future selves. Which is very worrying when we are talking about a Klug, but we'll get to that later. I'll actually talk about this during Klug's battle. But the fascinating thing is, why is Lambrus' default uniform so dark in color? And I actually think there's a reason for it. The drama CDs and his character descriptions in Fever 2 and Crest hint that he really, really dislikes his family. And there is a headcanon going around that actually might connect to that. I think that he is from a long line of dark mages, and that he's actually casting against his natural affinity by casting light magic. Like, that he's actually fighting his natural affinity. Which would also explain why he needs to use his own blood sugar to cast magic, because he actually needs to use more energy than the Puyo give him, because he is actively weakening himself by refusing to use dark magic. That is what I think is happening here. Ah yes, that was fun. By the way, here, if people speak Japanese, they might notice that I changed some sentence orders here. But it still means exactly the same thing. I just reordered the structure for flow.
まだあのままなんです。
詳しい原因はわからないけど、何者かの意図は感じるね。
I don't like that I used the word cost twice here, but it doesn't stand out too much unless I point it out, which I just did. But it works. I could have done better, but it works.
僕も君たちについていくよ。いろいろ気になるし、このままだと元の世界に帰れないしね。
There we go. That's Lambrus in our party. Da, 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 da. Let me see what you guys were talking about. Daily dose of dopamine. Finally done drawing. I wanna see it! It looks even worse than some of my other creations. So come on, don't be so like this. I love it when people share their creativity. I really do love it a lot. As long as it isn't changing the dialogue of a game. Whatever, let's continue. And after What's nothing is ever normal, but everyone can engage in non-consensual Puyo combat. I mean, fair. Kazun in the chat, that reminds me, I have so good chocolate with me here at work. Should I eat some? You absolutely should. I do that every day at work. Works for me. As long as I don't make my work computer's keyboard dirty. Made a substitute. The fact that he dual wields lollipops and Puyo Puyo Fever 2 will never not make me laugh. Oh god, Puyo Fever 2 is... I love it. Oceana in the chat. Puyo is like the Toho of puzzles with how people just challenge each other out of nowhere. It is, it really is. And I love it so much. Proto in the chat, the lore about Lambert's clothing colors and their relation to dark and light magic has me going, but my knowledge is sparse due to 90% of the information being in Japanese. I swear, I will translate Fever 2. I don't know how, because the game is harder to translate than even, like, the game is really basically the way the Mansigns, all the dialogue in the game is programmed is annoying AF, but, we will make it work, I promise, one day. Hopefully soon. Kasun in the chat. You're right, oh god, the Puyo X Toho game would be insane, and it would be glorious. I want it so badly. And on the chat, bullet hell, but the bullets are Puyo. Oh dear. I can actually imagine that, honestly. Given all the weird stuff that compiled it with Puyo, like a freaking mech, like giant mech controlling strategy RPG, why not? People in Puyo battle as frequently as Pokemon trainers and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists. I think they actually do it even more. Proto in the chat, Klug. I always wanted to become a demon. I mean, he talks about wanting to be full of dark magic so much. Why not? Naftali Watson, is it because of possessed Klug being mistaken for his future self? We will see. We will see. I will talk about this soon. Proto, me and all of my friends. Yes, or headcanons of Lambus being abused, looking more likely. Yeah. Lambus. I mean, I am not Catholic anymore, why am I doing this? But I respect all religions, so why not? A moment of silence for Lambus. Made a substitute, yeah, I'm heavily vibing with this idea, so am I! So Anon in the chat, who in Puyo has parents that are explicitly seen? Squares? Is the stream lagging? I don't think it is. It should be fine. Anyway, Squares. Squares has parents that are has one parent who is explicitly seen. I don't care what she calls herself. She's a parent. Don't run away from your responsibility, girl. Made a substitute. Do you mind if I steal it? I can give 150%. Look, give credit if you want to, or if you don't want to, please use the headcanon. I would be very happy if you did. Anon in the chat. Or it can just be the effect of the ages of the characters in general screwing pretty young. I would love to see more parents. Ringo's parents are actually mentioned a bunch, especially in like supplementary stuff. But yeah, we never see them. Which is funny because her grandma actually has a name according to the scenario writer. Her grandma is named Amanatsu, which is a type of mandarin orange. Which is why that was what she ate, according to Puyo Tetris 2. Kasuna in the chat, it would also explain why his spells are stellar in nature. The light of the stars is something of light surrounded by darkness. I know, it's so cool. Okay, yeah, I will talk about this in a bit, made a substitute, for now. Anon in the chat, but I'd really like to see some middle-aged Puyo characters. Agreed. I'm not talking about this yet. Proto in the chat, considering Lambus is also like a really quick learner, I also headcanoning him as coming from a highly prestigious rich family that he wants nothing to do with. Agreed! Same! Another headcanon to go with it is that his eye color is also a symbol of his family, and that's why he keeps his eyes closed in all time. Wants nothing to do with his family in the slightest. Agreed! I actually drew him with his eyes open before, just because I was drawing a series of pictures with all of the Puyo characters whose eyes we never see, with their eyes visible, and when I did that, I gave Lambros red eyes, because I like the idea of him having red eyes. Made a substitute in the chat. There's an incomplete translation patch for Puyo Puyo Fever 2. Maybe you can ask the creator of that patch. problem with that. We already did that, and the translator, the guys who made that patch, like especially the programming, are not currently active in the community. Getting in touch with them is very, very hard. Rip. Kazuna in the chat, what you're saying is that Puyo Puyo needs more DILF and MILF content. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. So, and now that we've gone through the chat, thank you, Proto, for your approval, but yeah, I've procrastinated for long enough. I am, yeah, as you've already pointed out in the chat. I can't put this off any longer. It's time for Skeleton 4 Eclectic Tombaloo. And yes, I choose this episode name out of pure spite. And don't worry, it's not inaccurate, because the Japanese episode name also just says they are very annoying. So, yes. Yeah, let's just get them out of the way. Mary in the chat, I read Eclectic Tombaloo as Electric Boogaloo for a second and I'm not sure how intentional it is. Very. The answer to that is very, very intentional. Let's continue. Kazuna in chat, Spite is the most powerful magic of them all. Here's Rizukuma, and his giant nose, and his weird everything. So, the word Emmett uses here is actually ikimono, which means creature, but creature doesn't have quite the ring that the lion has in Japanese. It sounds cuter in Japanese, so I used animal instead of creature. Lembus actually just says, is that without finishing the sentence, but the implication is there, so I added monster. Yeah, Rizukuma does his own sound effects. He does that a lot. I think he actually does it in the English version of the Tetris games as well, so yeah. Also, by the way, before anybody comments on Rizukuma using kun for Ringo, that is actually pretty common in Japan. The idea that kun is only for male persons is incorrect. Kun is completely divorced from gender. It's just used more for men because in a lot of contexts where kun can be used for girls, you instead use chan. It's not that kun isn't appropriate in those contexts, it just tends to get displaced by chan. But kun is still correct. Anon in the chat, now the others have their reactions to weird things in Ringo's world. Yeah, where does Ringo get off complaining about how weird everyone is in Primp Town and in the Mado world when this is in her physics club? I do not understand. Also, yeah, the DS translation actually left that out, but yeah, Lambros actually does quote, like, the Skeleton Trio's entrance line here. No idea why he does it, but you might have heard that he actually even does the voice for it, so this is canon. This happened. This is real. Yeah. Oh, he's not clear. Tickets for me! Made a substitute. This reaction from Lambros is the only reason why I'm okay with this interaction. Okay, this is something... I kept this line from Nexus because it was a cool pun. But I changed this line because they had Ringo be like, this is just lame, and that just didn't feel like her. So I changed it to this. Made a substitute. It's because he's a silly dog. Acceptable explanation, thank you. Anyway, hopefully this is... let's finally get rid of them. Let's get rid of them. Ah, I did this wrong. Okay, never mind. Give me Puyo that I can actually use! So. Why do I keep getting Puyo that I do not... Whatever. Let's do it like this. I have a bad habit of not actually looking at the next Puyo like bar because I'm too trying to concentrate on my field, so I just take whatever comes. This is my existence. Well, whatever. I am Super Ringo, Baby Ringo, adorable. Oh dear. Okay, that was bad. They don't transform either. They are just skeletons. They don't even turn into smaller skeletons. They just stay the way they are, as if it's okay. You have no reason to not transform. I do not excuse that. Pink sheep in the chat. I have a suggestion. You have been streaming for 10 hours. Do you want to stop after this? Maybe I should. Maybe, perhaps, mayhaps, you're right. It might be a good idea. But if I do so, I will have to continue like on Wednesday or Thursday, because tomorrow I am not at home in the afternoon. Or evening. Finally! They are dead! They are killed! I have murdered them! Goodbye! Nobody likes you! I'm sorry. That was rude.
何でも聞くがよいぞ。今回の出来事。
I just got a free Coke. I don't know why, but I got it. Thank you. my brother and his girlfriend just came in and bestowed upon me free Coke for my streaming endeavors. Proceed. Cheers. Anon in the chat, can skeletons die again? Fascinating question. Made a substitute in the chat. Continue on Wednesday and maybe I can pop in for my actual birthday. Oh, happy birthday! Well, I will see about Wednesday. I think I actually had something planned on Wednesday. Let me think about that real quick. Oh yeah, I wanted to watch Madoka on Wednesday with like my brother's girlfriend, so Thursday. I'm very sorry, because Madoka is 12 episodes and I want to finish it. I mean, if we end up waking in the middle, then maybe I will stream after all on Wednesday, but it will probably be Thursday. Made a substitute in the chat. Thanks, I'm gonna be old soon. I already am old. I'm an old amateur, a very old one.
空間の歪み的なものを起こしたのは君たちなのかい？そんなわけないじゃろ。じゃあそんなわけで忙しいゆえさらばじゃ。
Goodbye.
違うって。
Goodbye.
おや
Okay, I will do like one more episode for the simple reason that there's actually an act break after this episode. And I think that would be the best place to stop after the act break. Especially because like the acts after that, I actually want to get to this act because, well, you will see in a moment. Here we go! It's my other boy. I have to do this today. You must understand. It's my other boy. He is here. He has occurred. I need to do this. Here. He will top off this day marvelously. The whole world might be about to change because of my boy, Puruku. Klug. Smart. Klug. Very klug. Anyway, let's great dark magician. And I use magician intentionally because he doesn't deserve. I'm sorry. You deserve dark. Great. Don't hate me. And you deserve it. I'm sorry. I like him, but I also like to bully him. Made a substitute. Time to lovingly bully Klug. I agree.
みんな遅かったね。誰？未来の魔導界を引っ張る優秀で偉大な。
So yeah, this was one of the lines I wanted to retranslate because he didn't sound ridiculous enough in the Nexus translation. He actually sounded a bit like you could take him seriously, so I changed it up a bit. Yeah. Mary in the chat, oh my god, Klug, my favorite idiot. Agreed. Novastar, I kinda like Klug's English voice. I do too. I get why some people don't like it, but I just love that he sounds like he's actually in puberty and his voice cracks constantly and he's just this nerd and he's like, yes, it's perfect. I love him. It's like he's trying so badly to sound. He wants so badly to sound like you can take him seriously, but his voice keeps cracking. It's perfect. I love it. Celerity in the chat. Both English Klugs get it right, in my opinion. Yeah, they do. I wrote like a whole one-shot fanfiction about like both of his English voices being like actually there in canon, and my like that entire fanfic, like I wrote a one-shot about basically Puyo, what happened in Fever 2, forcing him into puberty because he suddenly got like basically the demon taking over confused his body, and so he suddenly starts puberty and his voice suddenly changes and he panics, freaks out and refuses to speak for an entire week, and everybody is very worried about him. And I'm very happy with that fanfic. You should all read it. It's like one of my favorite works. Fuwa Ketsu in the chat. Oh man, I definitely have to make sure I don't miss the next stream. Make sure to be there! I love you, Ringo. Oceano in the chat, at least someone is getting older than Mary in the chat, Klug, my dearly beloved clown. Yes.
ズバリ今何が起きてるの？仕方ないな。わかりやすく解説してあげるよ。うん、ぜひよろしく頼みたい。
Made a substitute in the chat. Direct me to it. Okay, I'll write the title of the fanfic in the chat, then you can write it. You can search it on AO3. you can find it there.
今回の出来事は多分自然現象なのさ。
I love how sure of himself he sounds here, even though like it's a non-explanation.
偶然空間が歪み
By chance!
偶然ぷよぷよがこの世界に
By
降り注ぎ
chance!
偶然僕たちもここに飛ばされてきたと。
By chance! Can you see? Do you see why I made several posts on Twitter about how this and Birdly from Deltarune are the same freaking character? And I mean like the same character, not even a similar character, just the same character. Just literally the same person in different universes. You cannot convince me otherwise. Oceana in the chat, that sounds like a Harry Potter spell, Neni. Well, so does every spell that Klug has. Pink Sheep in the chat. By the way, I really like those Mansai skits from the 20th website. Thank you! We're still making... There's still more of them to come. Like, my favorite... There's actually, like, one coming up that is, like, really, really good. There, okay. Klug has a one of those Mansai skits that is not, like, uploaded yet, but already translated, is about Klug. And it's, like, one of the best scenes Klug has ever had. And I can't wait for you all to see it. It is glorious. Kazuna in the chat, I was just about to make the connection, and you read my mind. Glad. Mary, now I really need that Toby Fox collab. I know! And the thing is, like, even the character development is the same, because, well, you see a bit of it in the games, but, like, in the additional material, you can really see it, that it's basically the same issues, and, like, the same character development. I love it so much. I wish they were able to do more of it in the games. Mary, I need Klug and his curtain bird to team up and be clowns together. I agree!
だからこの自然現象を狙って起こしてしまえば全て元通りさ。
Celerity in the chat. Also, I meant, wasn't Klug the most different in the original version? Oh yeah! Yeah, there was a lot of mistranslating involved with Klug, especially with his victory lines in the original. Is it original? I mean, in the DS translation and the Nexus translation, I don't know what they did with Klug, but like they made him sound like he was they made him sound more serious, which you should never do with Klug because he is supposed to be a little silly at least, and you can't make him sound like he's actually respectable, because that defeats the point of Klug. Oceana in the chat, Klug decides to become ignorant. Now that we are not quite at that point yet. Not in canon at least. Not quite there yet. But it would be a fun plot twist. And they also, like, basically changed all of his, like, in-story, like, he has a lot of changed lines in the DS version that just really changed the meaning of what is going on, and I was very salty at that, actually, like, extremely salty, because there's one line there that I actually searched in the Japanese version by replaying his battle versus Lamris a bajillion times, and it never showed up, and I was like, am I insane? Why isn't it happening? It's not happening because it didn't exist. It didn't exist. And in the chat, that was a really good fic. Takes only half an hour to read. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Okay, let's continue.
それはどうやって？
Best point. Best moment. So Ringo asks the question. How actually useful information? Question mark? Look at his face, look at the text box, and remember his voice. He's just like, Klug.exe has stopped working. I love it when he has these moments like, oh shit, I don't actually know what to say. How do I? Epoch says in the chat, since Klug is also in an official outfit, does his color reflect his magic? he's not a fully fledged mage, so he's not actually allowed to wear, like, the sorcerer's uniform. So, not actually, no. Probably not. We don't know what his affinity is. Anyway, now that Klug is officially broken, let's see how he tries to fix himself.
よし、続きはぷよ勝負の後だ。
Nice save. Dude, perfect save.
自由すぎる。
Made a substitute in the chat. Excellent question. Don't ask questions. Pretty much.
レッツ。
ぷよ勝負。
Here we go. Let's force him to tell us actual things. Okay, never mind. Okay, like this.
回れ。回れ。クリリス。回れ。ファインクリリス。回れ。クリリス。
Hmm.
回れ。回れ。
Oh! Transform at the same time. Oh yeah, and also here. There was a made-up victory line in the Nexus translation of this game, in which basically there was a pair of made-up victory lines where in the Lambus versus Fluke battle, where they had Lambus say one of your one of your transformations seems a little dangerous, and then had Fluke say, I have the strange form under control, Lambus. That didn't happen in the Japanese version. The Japanese version never talks about what his Deca form looks like and how it happens to reuse art from Fever 2, like art from Possessed Klug. Because, firstly, I think it was meant as a visual gag, and secondly, as I said, I think the transformations spell is supposed to reflect, like, the ideal selves of the characters, which is actually even more worrying, because it means that Klug's ideal self is literally just a demon. He's on a very bad path in life, and I think that's actually way more worrying than him just getting possessed again for 2 seconds. I don't think that is nearly as worrying as the fact that, like, at Klug, you're literally doing the thing to yourself. Stop doing the thing to yourself. I think I'm dying. God damn it. Did he kill me? Oh gosh. I can survive. I must survive. I have survived. Do not murder me, Klug, for I am Neni. Hear me roar. I cannot die. I mean, Klug is smart boy, so, I mean, smart boys have good AI, so he allowed to murder, but not right now, because I want to finish for the day. I am still alive, for now, and I will continue to live. I will not give up on alive until I am not alive, which is considered dead. Ah! I will not unalive. Actually, I might unalive. God fucking damn.
出直してきます。
実力だね。
God damn it. That was one of the victory lines that I kept because it was actually good and reflected the original. Made a substitute in the chat. That's what happens with Dark Nerds. They risk becoming I don't know how to spell it. the middle grade syndrome thing. Chunibyo, and yes, he's a total Chunibyo. He's an incredibly Chunibyo. Oceana in the chat, live and learn. Proto in the chat, shout out to the spirit possessing Klug in that one audio drama just so he could free a trapped doggo. Yep, yeah, that happened. It was amazing. So, let's continue. Ha! All clear! Yes! Here we go! This is a much better on our way. I love how there are like notes of the fever theme in this theme. It's like, it's a very nice musical nod. Yeah, there we have it. The alleged possession that might not actually be one and might actually just be the nerd not realizing that those who admire demons might become demons. It is very poetic, you see. Yahoo! Like just after, right after that voice, he just goes impressive voice and then just yahoo! I love it. Those who admire evil might become evil. It's actually basic logic, honestly. I love translating this one. I've defeated a great sorcerer. Apparently. So, what have you guys been saying? Naphtali Watson, her vocabulary is scrambled. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. Mary in the chat, Klug is the most Junie to ever Junie. Yeah, pretty much. Proto in the chat, also of note, strange holy shit his English dub voice, so possessed Klug's English dub voice. I know there's people who hate it, but I love it. Because it just sounds like being possessed makes Klug go through speed puberty, and I adore it. Maiden substitute. Shout out to the spirit getting upset whenever anyone else is trapped. Yeah, there was like this one. I don't like Quest, but there was like this very brief scene in Quest in one of the training missions for possessed Klug, and like possessed Klug actually just heard the word sealed treasure and was like, oh no, is it another sealed soul? Do I have to go and free somebody? And then they were like, no, it's actually just pickles. And possessed Klug was just like, screw you! It was amazing. Oceana in the chat, the menus have such an N64 vibe, and but it's a Wii game, you know? But I still love it. I love retro stuff, it's great. Fubaketsu, I love leitmotifs. I do too! Proto in the chat, I am evil, pure hatred incarnate. Sees literally anyone that's trapped. Oh, hold on, buddy, let me get you out of there. Let me just tell you something. The only time, aside from menus, that the spirit is called evil in Fever 2, the only time is in the notes that are left in the book itself, which were written by the person who used the book on the demon. Said person used the book on the demon for no other reason than that they were bored, thought the demon looked strong, and wanted to see if they could slay it. No other reason. That was the only reason they did it. After they did it, what was left of the demon turned into an amnesiac human child. They stated in their notes that it was an amnesiac human child. And they also state in their notes that they left said child behind alone to die in the castle. I mean, we know that it didn't die because Sig exists, so clearly somebody picked that kid up and that kid went on to have a family. But still, what the heck? What is your definition of evil if that's what you do to children who you know are amnesiac? I know that it used to be a demon, but you state that it's a human child. And you leave it to die. Screw you! So yeah, I don't trust that narrator at all. Because of that, they said the evil spirit was sucked inside. And then I went away and left the kid to die. No, I don't believe your definition of evil, thank you. Proto in the chat. Wow, that dude sounds like an asshole. Yeah, very much so. Point. Does Klug have a point? We're about to find out. Not a point yet, but you're getting there, Mr. Procrastination.
地球と呼ばれるこの世界そのものが持つ力と魔導士の力を合わせて共鳴させて大きな力にするのさ。
Side in the chat. Hey Neni, I'm back. You're still not even at half of the game. Look, there was a lot to explain.
共鳴によって発生するエネルギーを利用すれば
Proto in the chat. So if Ringo is Susie, is Klug Birdley? Oh, Klug is literally Birdley. Literally, same person. Made a substitute. I feel like some comments aren't showing up for me. Make sure that you've got live chat enabled rather than just top chat. Naphtali Watson, possessed Klug, speaks in cursive poetry. I know, and I love it.
僕たちは元の世界に戻れるし
God, Klug is adorable, even though he doesn't want to admit it.
降ってきているぷよぷよも全部なくなるしおまけに空間の歪みのようなものもなくなるはずなのさすごーい
Thanks, Amity, for your input.
なんかまとまりがありすぎて気になるよ
I love Ringo just like, yep, I love how Ringo's just like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a setup for a plot twist, but okay. And on in the chat, Possessed Klug is quite old. Possessed Klug lived in the kingdom of Alka, which, according to other books in the library, is actually something that archaeologists are researching in the time of Primptown. So, like Possessed Klug, the demon is older than the town of Primptown, like way older. Just trust my calculations.
実はほとんどアルルに聞いた話だけど
So, a fun fact. I saw another streamer point out that I used like muttering in like quotations here. And they said that this was a good way to show that Klug is like unsure or stuff. But that wasn't me doing that. That is there in the Japanese version. They left it out in the DS version. I have no idea. But like yet this muttering in quotations is there in Japanese. And I think it also puts into perspective why Klug can suddenly say this after being so hesitant to say anything before and just freezing up before. Like, he's giving up this information now, but he doesn't want to say it because it isn't actually his information and it makes him feel like inadequate to quote somebody else. He didn't want to quote Al, and maybe he shouldn't have. Maybe he shouldn't have quoted Al, but he didn't want to sound dumb. So, yeah, I guess I'm gonna quote Al now. God damn it. Say it in the chat. What other stream? Keiko's? Yeah, Keiko's stream. I'm talking about Keiko's stream. Proto in the chat. Possessed Klug speaks in cursive. Liddell speaks in lowercase. Oh yeah, that's so true.
せっかくだからもう少し詳しく
This was one of the lines that like the DS translation had completely wrong. I think they misunderstood the fact that like nobody was supposed to have heard like the last line that Klug said because he's just muttering it under his breath. The DS translation treated it like he said that openly. Like he would actually say that openly, like he would admit that the information he had didn't come from him.
理屈を 解説してあげるよ。
That was Act 2. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I mean, I would say stream, but let's be honest, I've pretty much just been presenting for 3 hours. Anon in the chat, don't take information from Al in slightly different clothing. Slightly? Anyway, I think as May the Substitute suggested, I should cut the stream here. Because I am actually out of breath. I'm actually exhausted. I cannot focus on Puyo, but what else is new? This was huge fun. I will do the rest of the game on Thursday. Was so fun to have you guys around. We need to watch one more scene because this scene comes right after the last run. And then, that will be it for the day. Let's just watch the first scene. Oh, it was pink. Well, it was somebody else's idea. Sorry, I misunderstood them. Sorry. Let's finish this. Puyo Puyo's 30th celebration is coming on 10/25. Woo! Wow! Puyo fans be eating good. Will the next stream be at the same time? I'll try to have it at the same time. So, let's finish this Mansai cutscene and then we'll say goodbye for the day.
まとめると、地球が強いパワーを放出している場所。つまり、世界の七不思議スポットで7人のぷよ使いとぷよぷよ勝負をして。
I need to explain this. I kept 7 wonders from the first patch. It is a correct translation, but like Nana Fushigi isn't like the 7 wonders as in like the 7 wonders that are like recorded, like the ancient Greek 7 wonders, but like it's like the 7 wonders of the school. It's like these 7 mysteries. It's like something that there are a lot of rumors about. Nana Fushigi is like always like 7 things that there are a lot of rumors about in a specific thing. It's kind of like a Japanese ghost story, school ghost story thing, which actually explains why Area 51 is in there, but we'll get to that. Pink Sheep, Area 51 is canon in the Puyo universe. It is!
勝てということだな。世界の七不思議スポットって。
Proton the chat, the 7 wonders of Twilight Town from Kingdom Hearts 2. Exactly like that.
それはここから遠いの？遠いといえば遠いけど。
So, I actually tried to stay close to the DS patch's phrasing here, but still changed a bit. The phrasing is actually a bit different in Japanese, but I don't think it would have flowed right, so I stayed closer to the DS patches. DS patches phrasing. I kept the compromise.
この町の駅からはいろんな土地へ。
In Japanese, she just says we have there's like a train that goes to a lot of places in our town, but that wouldn't have flowed right, so I did this.
乗りっぱなしで OK だよ。へえ、すごい。でも電車って何？
Yeah, Amity doesn't know what train means because canonically Primptown doesn't have technology because they do everything that you would do with technology with magic. So she doesn't know what a train is. Sayata in the chat, Neni, it's worth noting that there is a train line in Japan called Suzuran. Yeah, there is. It's kind of cute. I think it might be a coincidence, but I think it's cute if it's not. Made a substitute. I mean, they're canonically on Earth. I mean, yes, but this is an Earth where Rizukuma exists, as I would like to point out. Oceano, why is it always 7 wonders? Because 7 is a cool number.
乗ってるだけでいろんなところに行ける。
Made a substitute. Made a substitute. The 7 wonders has driven me nuts. Has driven me nuts for years. Oh god, I really need to take a break. Glad to finally get an explanation on it. Glad to help.
なんかよくわからないけど、ちょっとドキドキかも。
では早速行こう。
To the train station. I kind of liked. I kept that. I like how it's phrased here. I shouldn't. I just like how the patch turned out. I'm happy with it. And there we have Dark Owl giggling to self.
すべては計画通り。
I will talk about Dark Owl and the thing next time. But for now, this is where we break. I'm sorry this is going so slow, but there's so much to talk about with all of this. And I love talking about my process. This was fun. We'll continue on Thursday afternoon, same time as today. I'll set the stream up already, so I am forced to actually do it. Thank you all for watching. This was amazing. I will be wearing the cosplay again. I say goodbye, says Ringo! And Amity from Loch Ness. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!